Guys, welcome to Tony Katz Tonight. Man, it's good to be back. I wait for it. That's all I can say. Big show, fantastic. Let's get to it right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
It is so good to be back in the big chair. So good to be back with all of you. The teases did not steer you wrong, ladies and gentlemen. The big news, I say the big news, coming in just a little bit. 317-239-9393, toll free 800-571-9422. If you have not been paying attention to what's going on the border, this insurrection, this illegal activity, this attack on the southern border of the United States of America, this illegal, immoral, and quite literally insane immigrant dump, illegal immigrants, illegal invaders, if I'm going to quote the Constitution properly, Article 4, Section 4, that the government will protect the nation from invasion. Therefore, if you cross illegally, clearly it is an invasion. That doesn't put me in any kind of tinfoil hat group, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quoting the Constitution. Think I'm quoting it improperly, you can tell me that, but I don't think I am. I don't think I am at all. As a matter of fact, I think I'm the only guy out there who's properly explaining the situation. Right now in Arizona, people who cross the border illegally are being bussed and dropped off and saying, okay, go to it. Have yourselves a good time. Border agents are not being kept on the border. I think the number was 40%. 40% of border agents not on the border. We have been promised time and again a border that is secure, that we were going to use the electronic surveillance. We were going to have a border that would be protected. Has not happened. The money was allocated. Did not happen. And there are far too many who want on the border conversation to tell us that it is all about being a humanitarian. How dare you be anti this group or anti that group or anti the other group? They pick a group, ladies and gentlemen. They've got enough groups to make you choke a horse. They've got a group for everything. And they tell you that you're being anti-human. You're against humanity if you want to send people back. You're against humanity if you want to have a sealed border. Let me give you a couple of stories. First, you have a group of ex-border agents who will tell you that this is being deliberately arranged, charging that the federal government under the Obama administration, arranging for a flood of immigrant children to arrive in America for political purposes. This is, by the way, when they say children, oh, that's part of it. That's the flood. That's the human shield that's being utilized here. Nothing about this is easy. This takes a lot of strength to engage this conversation and to talk about the answers. Because we can't just say, oh, it's a problem, and then twiddle our thumbs. We must solve this problem. We must talk about things that will work, and we must, in order for us to be clear, engaging that clarity conversation, we must be honest about who we are, what we believe, and what we're after. We must be honest about what is proper and decent. According to the National Association of Former Border Patrol Officers, this is their statement, this is not a humanitarian crisis. It is predictable, orchestrated, contrived assault on the compassionate side of Americans by her political leaders that knowingly put minor illegal alien children at risk for purely political purposes. Certainly, we are not gullible enough to believe that thousands of unaccompanied minor Central American children came to America without the encouragement, aid, and assistance of the United States government. Anyone, it continues, that has taken 2 6- to 7-year-old children to an amusement park can only imagine the problems associated with bringing thousands of unaccompanied children that age up through Mexico and into the United States, which brings an interesting point. That we're seeing a lot of these children from places like Guatemala. Well, I'm going to open up a map of Central America. I'm just going to open up a map just to give you an idea of where people are coming from and how it's happening. If you were to take a look at a map of Central America right here, if it would come in and not be blurry for me, if my computer would in any way work. The Mexican border is with Guatemala to the south and Belize. The Mexican border is not one that is super long on that southern tip where it connects with Central America, and it is heavily fortified. In that, I mean, it is not what we think of as a border. Mexico takes its border security rather seriously. So for these people to get through this southern border, they have to get through into Mexico, and then they have to traverse the length of Mexico. The question that they are asking is a valid question. How in the world is a 7-year-old doing this? How is that remotely possible? That they are getting from Guatemala all the way through to Nogales. Well, that would be in Arizona, but they're getting through in Texas. So pick your spot. Texas being a little bit closer, it would make sense that they would go to Texas. How do they get through? A 7-year-old, a 9-year-old. How is that possible? So when they discuss the idea that this is being orchestrated, I would say that logic dictates that that is possible and on their side. So we have this from those ex-border agents. Why is this happening? Why is this pushing? And why is the government doing nothing about it? The words of President Obama, ladies and gentlemen, from yesterday. President Obama reminded Democratic donors, this from the corner over there at nationalreview.com, that, quote unquote, our future rests on the success of people brought to the United States illegally as children who would qualify for citizenship if Congress had passed the DREAM Act. And he says, about 30 to 40% of the kids in this school, by the way, are DREAM kids. You wouldn't know by looking at them because they're as American as apple pie. But every single one of these kids, you might not be able to tell the difference, but a whole bunch of them, they're worried about whether or not they're going to finance their college education of their immigrant status. They're worried about whether, in fact, this country that they love so deeply loves them back and understands that our future rests on their success. Why wouldn't we want to give them the certainty that you are part of the fabric of this nation? We're counting on you, and we're going to make sure you succeed. Why wouldn't we do that? Couple that with the words of Joe Biden, who said, and I'm quoting, he called for a constant, unrelenting stream of new immigrants, not dribbling, but significant flows, saying we need it badly from a purely economic point of view. And on Twitter, he said, the final thing we need to do together is pass immigration reform. We need it badly. So you have the president and the vice president of the United States telling us all how desperately we need all of these immigrants, while we have this flood of illegal immigrants, illegal invaders, coming through Texas, being dropped off at bus stations in Arizona. This story from CNN. There were reports of abuses of 116 minors by agents from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, according to a complaint filed by the American Civil Liberties Union and 4 immigrants' right groups. They're claiming that threats of violence, sexual abuse, strip searches, dirty conditions, and young mothers whose children became sick. These are these abuses on 116 minors. The group say in their complaint that the incidents have been occurring for years and called for an investigation and improved federal policies toward young, undocumented immigrants. So now We have this flood of immigrants. We have no way to handle it. It is possibly coordinated. The president and the vice president are telling us how desperately we need these immigrants. And now it's the border agents who are the ones who are wrong, the ones who are being abusive, the ones who are being so dastardly. Strip searches and dirty conditions. Everything about this stinks to high heaven and forces a conversation upon us that is not politically correct, but is clearly necessary. We will discuss this when we return. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
93 WIBC.
It's disappointing, sure.
The reason we won this campaign is there's just one reason, and that's because dollars do not vote. You do.
Another news update is just minutes away.
Thank you all very
So,
much.
Get the facts.
The shooter is deceased.
where is
Not
everybody?
just the talking points.
We're the only developed country on earth where this happens.
On the level, on the go. 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Do you remember what you looked like and felt like just 9 years ago? Hi, this is Denny Smith, and 9 years ago I was out of shape, feeling sluggish, and not very happy with my general state of health.
Let's see. Let me
An
go
old
through
friend
your
recommended I
stuff.
try Exercise Inc. To try
Okay, so
exercise
people are
exercise
betting
Inc.
page on what the news is.
Truthfully, I thought my friend was full of it. But here I am not
Kim and I told him you're shaving your head and mustache.
Okay.
You ought to try it. And just know that
Sorry,
it'll be
cat's out of the bag.
20 minutes of your
It
life.
is a hot show, Beautiful Eye Wings. I will do that. It is a big show, hot show.
Last less than 3 minutes on a custom machine, and you'll come out of those
Let's
slow
see.
pace exercises pretty much
Drew
exhausted.
says we'll have to wait to the end of the show. That's right.
You'll recover really quickly.
Well, not the full
Hopefully
end.
How much better you'll feel. And you'll find yourself so much healthier and in better shape each and every week. Just call them. It's Exercise Inc., and they're in 3 different locations.
Is Tony engaged to Katie Holmes? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Tony's pregnant.
That's 873-5700
Um,
or exerciseinc.com.
Shave his head, put on paper pants, and join his friends at LAX.
Look no further than
If you were pregnant, you wouldn't talk about it.
Tony is moving to Texas to steal Amy Miller from Brodigan. If you don't know Brodigan, you're missing out. Tony's moving to Indianapolis. Tracked and Targeted is going to be made into a documentary.
Visit primeimagemedia.com today to learn
B.
more.
Williams
Mention
says,
Tony
in
Katz
order
and
for,
get
he's
10%
quoting
off your
New
first
Jersey versus
production.
United
That's
States from the Third Circuit, 1996.
primeimagemedia.com.
In order for a state to be afforded the protections of the invasion clause, it must be exposed to armed hostility from another political entity, such as another state or foreign country that is intending to overthrow the state's government. I believe that I could prove that. I believe that we have to rethink some definitions in terms of what is armed hostility. Right? Do you have to be coming at us with guns, or do you have to be coming at us economically? It is what it is. What it is. If you're going to tell me that the Third Circuit is properly explaining and understanding the founders' concept of invasion, I would reject that. Also, he says there are no manageable standards to ascertain whether an influx of illegal immigrants should be said to constitute an invasion. That, by the way, that's from the Ninth Circuit, 97. Thank you, by the way, for the. Thank you so much for that, the citation. There are no manageable standards to ascertain whether or when an influx of illegal immigrants should be said to constitute an invasion. I will answer that. I will provide the answer to that. I will use that to move it forward.
I did that when I was younger.
B. Williams is damn good. You guys are all damn good.
It's not paint. It's so much
Damn
more.
good.
I decided it was the right product. My wife is real happy with it. The outside now looks good, and she's proud when people come now. It just looks better.
Now Central Indiana get the guaranteed protection.
Are you asking me what state capital got seized?
The regular price.
I was real pleased with those guys. They would start at daylight and work till dark. When they came to do it,
I don't believe that you have to seize a capital or lay siege to a capital city in order to overthrow a state government. Do you? Do you? I don't know. A protection against invasion is due from every society to the parts composing it. The latitude of the expression here used seems to secure each state not only against foreign hostility, but against ambitious or vindictive enterprises of its more powerful neighbors. The history, both of ancient and modern confederacies, proves that the weaker members of the Union ought not to be insensible to the policy of this article. Quoting James Madison, very impressive. Wouldn't that go against my thesis? I mean, wouldn't that support my thesis? Is more to the point.
Local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer Marshall.
Sorry, I'm dealing with a different camera today,
so I apologize. Has been based in Franklin his entire life, and he knows how important customer service is.
We have a trusted relationship with our customers. We run 85-90% referral, so if we're not doing a great job, and continue to grow throughout referrals and keep our reputation top notch, that's what keeps us.
That's Marshall Mechanical, 738-5940, or MarshallHVAC.com. Marshall Mechanical is your trusted local independent American Standard dealer.
Check out what's going on with 93 WIBC.
Stripper pole. That could be my announcement.
For the 4th annual Cruise
my announcement, Tony's Tasty Falafel Truck.
Steve Simpson will be one of the judges, and you can bring your car, listen to music, attend free seminars, and more. Proceeds go to the Alzheimer's Association Greater Indiana. Also on Saturday, our Home and Garden Show will be broadcasting live from Sullivan's Hardware Store at 71st and Keystone from 9 to 2. Stop by and check out the show.
Grab more info online at WIBC.com. You're listening to Tony Katz Tonight. To talk to Tony, call 239-9393.
You are in.
Theme night here at Tony Katz Tonight. It is all Justin Bieber music, according to Paige.
Timberlake.
Timberlake. I got the Justin right.
One is better than the other.
That is true. I apologize.
One has Jessica Biel, one does not.
That's true. That's absolutely true. But one does have Selena Gomez.
Yes, and she doesn't have a horse face.
No, she does not have a horse. Who has a horse face?
I'm saying she doesn't. Jessica Biel kind of has a horse face.
Really? You think so?
And as a fellow horse face, I get it.
What are you talking about, Paige?
She does. Have you ever...
No, I'm talking about you. You think you have a horse face?
No, I'm just teasing. I do have a long nose, though. But she does have a bit of a horse face. Her and Sarah Jessica Parker.
No, don't compare. We're not comparing Jessica Biel to Sarah Jessica Parker. That's not even
Well, no,
decent.
But I'm saying she's got kind of a horse face.
Okay, and by the way, the fact that Justin Bieber had moments with Selena Gomez makes me openly want to weep. But
and that she seems to not be able to get over him.
Yeah, she's got to figure that out.
Makes me want to weep.
She's got to figure that out real quick.
What is wrong with you?
So Paige is Justin Timberlake all night long. The announcement coming shortly, but let me go back to this because the chat room they're not all over me. I shouldn't say it that way, but our good friend B. Williams in the chat room, a guy who researcher. I was talking about invasion, and he wants to take me to. He's not taking me to task. He's putting some thoughts out there because I refer to it as invasion, quoting Article 4, Section 4. He is disagreeing based on two responses, one from the Third Circuit and one from the Ninth. In the Third Circuit, New Jersey versus the United States, they wrote, in order for a state to be afforded the protections of the invasion clause, it must be exposed to armed hostility from another political entity, such as another state or foreign country that is intending to overthrow the state's government. I would argue that there isn't here, at least from what you provided, a specific way that has to be proven. And B, if it was directly related to the idea of whether or not there was an armed insurgency, that would not dictate whether or not there was a economic insurgency. And maybe that requires a different ruling and a different classification, or at least a review of the case. That would be my argument, not being a lawyer. Here is where I think it gets interesting. Quoting the Ninth Circuit, California versus the United States, 1997, there are no manageable standards to ascertain whether or when an influx of illegal immigrants should be said to constitute an invasion. Well, what we're seeing on the southern border, I argue, is. I argue that it is. And we'll get into how I believe we handle that in a second. But let me take this case here, California versus the United States. the Ninth Circuit, 1997. There are no manageable standards to ascertain whether or when an influx of illegal immigrants should be said to constitute an invasion. Since they're telling me there is no manageable standard, can't I therefore just decide that there is a standard? Can't the President of the United States or can't Congress decide that there is a standard, that there is a moment? There is no manageable standard? Well, that means that someone can just pick one. They're saying that you cannot draw a line in the sand. That's at least the way I read it, and I take it. You cannot draw a line in the sand. That means that it is up to those people in charge that we have elected, some of them unfortunately, to be able to stand up for and recognize when there is an issue at play. And that's the story. That there is an issue at play. The immigration dump happening right now is real and is dangerous. And it is the fault of the administration and requires very hard answers and solutions of value. Now, when I say it is the fault of the administration, I am saying it is. And when George Bush was president, it was his fault. And when William Jefferson Clinton was president, it was his fault. And when George H.W. Bush was president, it was his fault. And when Ronald Reagan allowed amnesty, it was his fault. Immigration is not something that just, as an issue, has just started, which would just say illegal immigration. Because I'm all for immigration. I am all for legal immigration. I am all for the system. If the system itself needs a bit of streamlining, I'm all for it. Am I in favor of allowing people who broke the law to continue to break the law or to get better access to opportunities to become citizens? No, I reject it. I reject it. And I refuse to be told that somehow I'm inhumane. I think I'm the most humane person in the room because I respect the people who followed the law. That is the difference. These pro-immigrant groups, by the way, I'm pro-immigrant. I am pro-legal immigrant. My grandparents were immigrants. I have no reason not to be pro-immigrant. There is no logical conversation not to be pro-immigrant. Immigration has helped the nation grow, but it has only helped the nation grow when people come to the United States to be part of the United States. It only helps when people come to this country to be part of the fabric of America. When Joe Biden states that we need significant flows, a constant unrelenting stream of new immigrants, I do not specifically disagree, but it must be legal. It must not be everybody and anybody. It has to be people who rise to a standard. Certainly, we are allowed to have standards, even if that standard was just sickness. Should we allow people with measles, mumps, and rubella into the country? Should we allow people with MERS to become citizens? Middle East respiratory syndrome? Should we allow that? It's a unique question. It's a valuable question. My grandmother had a sister coming from Poland. They all came from Poland on a boat. 5 sisters. One of them was turned around and sent back to Poland in the 30s because she had an ear infection. Am I supposed to be angry with the nation? Am I supposed to be upset with the country? Am I supposed to be disgusted? Or did they not quite understand an ear infection and had to protect the people in the country? Hard questions and conversations that require solutions, that require a level of decency. And the first level of decency is to respect the law and respect the citizens. 7-year-olds are not coming on their own. I absolutely agree that that's not possible. People who break the law are lawbreakers, and they should not be given any special treatment, even if they have children. Ladies and gentlemen, none of this is easy. But we must be people of the law, and we must be people who are at least willing to say, if the choice is between the humane thing and lawlessness, or the humane thing and the law, because it's not inhumane to follow the law, I'm following the law. And I expect the President of the United States to do the same. It is invasion. That's just the reality. More ahead. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
This hour is powered by Idle Joy Museums.
Jesus. That was very loud.
When it rains, it pours. Don't wait for your basement to become an indoor pool. Call Mr. Plumber for $200.
Think I'm going to hear a lot of abuse on that one?
Pump that works even when you lose power, and it has a 7-year
But I mean, possibly, but I agree with you. I was just telling Mike, my great grandma, when she was 14, coming over from Ukraine, I think in the 20s or the teens, was made to stay behind in Ukraine with her younger brother because they tested positive for something.
I've been a technician for 21 years.
And then at 14 years old, when they finally got cleared, sailed alone to meet up with the family.
And even safety issues. I hope you'll turn to the experts you trust.
Say that again?
Comfort Air for your $53 tune-up, including the camera inspection of your cooling coils. You'll be sure
Or not.
Ready for summer. Call 660-7900 today.
Hang on, just a second.
Only must be able to start.
Get ready to play Prime Image.
All right, I'll wait. I'm only arguing a political question, not a war one.
So, okay, my great-grandma, when coming over with the family from Ukraine,
Right.
I can't remember if it was tuberculosis or what. She tested positive for it, even though she didn't have any symptoms or anything. They made her and her younger brother stay behind, and then I think it was like a year later, as a 14-year-old with her like 9-year-old brother, they sailed alone from Ukraine to America to meet up with the family.
Amazing. Amazing. It's an interesting point, B. Williams. I'm arguing a political question, not a war one. I don't know that I am, but I think that's an interesting take. So how do I... Honestly, wow, I'm going to Clinton you. All right? It depends on what your definition of war is. I should pull out a cigar for that. That's how Clinton that is. That is absolutely.
When you look back at this year, what stories will you
Right? Can't I argue that there is more than one kind of war?
And wherever you go, the lights on one and all in Indiana. Map out your road trip at visitindiana.com.
Father's Day is June 15th, and Menards is the perfect place to find great gifts for Dad. Right now, save big with an 11% rebate on everything in the store. Save 11% after rebate on hand and power tools. Save 11% on trimmers.
Well, Jimmy Bice, I think what B. Williams is saying, and I think really, really well, actually. Like, I think that was really good. That the conversation I'm having is indeed no, wait, maybe it's not a political question. I think it's, first of all, a good statement that I'm arguing the idea of all these people coming in. It's a drain on resources, and therefore it's unsustainable. And that's not specifically a war conversation to what we're talking about, or at least how he is describing invasion, which would be about armed insurrection, which would be people coming in guns blazing to take over. And for example, he mentioned state capitals. That's like that, but isn't that a conversation akin to a terrorism conversation? That we're not fighting a nation, we're fighting an idea or an ideology? Is it still valuable? I mean, I'm thinking it through. I'm trying to take the look at it, B. Williams, from your side and say, okay, I want to understand it so I can then come back from my side and say, yes, but this is still why. And what I come to is that A, it depends on what your definition of war is. I think that's actually maybe a legitimate statement. And B, even if you were to say, if I were to take your thesis and say we don't call it invasion, that's fine. Let's say, for the sake of the conversation, we don't take it as invasion. There is still an argument to be made regarding how we as a nation should respond. Certainly acceptance is the worst response. We can agree on that. Even if we don't use it as invasion and we don't describe it as invasion, acceptance of the situation at hand right now in Arizona and Texas requires a response, and the lack of response is unacceptable. Do we agree on that?
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875.
I may just start drinking, Paige.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes.
You got Peter on the line?
24 hours a day.
I do.
7 days
Awesome.
a week. Call today for.
He said his cell bat's low, so if suddenly he disappears, his phone died.
Indianapolis at 875-45.
His phone died?
DoorsToday.com.
No, it's draining. He doesn't. He thinks he has it up enough, but just in case.
Get the VIP treatment at the 4th Annual Donato's Downtown Freedom Blast on the 4th of July at the Indiana War Memorial Grounds. Grab the details at WIBC.com. You're listening to Tony Katz Tonight. To talk to Tony, call 239-9393.
You are in.
Paige has it as Timberlake night here at Tony Katz Tonight. So if you're unhappy with the music, Paige at WIBC.com.
Bring it.
Having a back and forth with the chat room about this concept of invasion. Good question got asked, and I'm looking at it politically and not in a military. I'm arguing a political question, not a war one. So I was discussing it during the break. I'll get back to it. But joining us right now, the World Cup has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 in the books. Brazil 3, Croatia 1. Are these people really up for it? Is Brazil ready? Joining us right now, the general manager of the IndyEleven at IndyEleven on Twitter, IndyEleven.com. His name is Peter Wilt. Peter, good to have you on the program, my friend.
Hey, Tony, thanks for having me on. Happy World Cup Day.
Is that a thing, World Cup Day?
Well, it's a national holiday in Brazil, so why not here, too?
Yes, well, everything's a national holiday in Brazil. Let's start with some basics. The U.S. doesn't play for a couple of days now, but the coach there, I'm forgetting his name right now, Jurgen. There's always a Jurgen, my friend.
The other Jurgen,
right.
Jurgen Klinsmann is there as the national team coach. We have Jurgen Sommer.
That is correct. IndyEleven. Jurgen Klinsmann said that the U.S. can't win. Flat out said that the U.S. cannot win. Is that just honesty, or is that just a pathetic way to start the World Cup?
Well, maybe both. It likely is what he really thinks. I mean, Jurgen is a pretty honest person. He's not a guy to play mind games. And he laid it out there. And certainly it's a long shot for the U.S. to win the World Cup, but for the head coach of the team to say it is a little bit controversial.
Because the U.S. is grouped in Group G with Germany, Portugal, and Ghana, and it has been dubbed the Group of Death. Like, is it that impossible for the U.S. to get out of that group?
Not at all. Not at all. Every game is winnable. The order of those 3 games is actually in the United States' favor. Not playing Germany until the 3rd game helps because there's a good chance Germany will win their first 2 games, which will clinch them going through, and they may not play all their best players in the final game.
So understand that, and I want everyone to understand that when the teams are playing, not only are you worried about the win, which gets you points, you're worried about the goal differential because that comes into play in order to get out of the group and then into the next round. So
yeah, 2 of the 4 teams in your group go on. Ghana, Portugal, and Germany are the other 3 in the United States group. And there's a good chance 2 of the teams will have 4 points and one of the teams will have 6 points. And so one of those teams with 4 points won't go through.
I have had, my brother, the good Dr. Katz, is a soccer fanatic and has said that, yes, he agrees with Klinsmann, has absolutely no shot whatsoever, and I'll give you his prediction in a moment. But is Brazil ready for this? We've seen protesters getting gassed. There was a whole conversation before the Cup began that stadiums wouldn't even be ready. The infrastructure's not ready. The police, the security isn't ready. Is this going to be a peaceful event, or are things going to get ugly quick?
I go back to when Greece hosted the Olympics about 12 years ago. And if Greece can pull off an Olympics, I think Brazil can pull off a World Cup. There'll certainly be challenges, and it won't totally go smoothly. I think the field itself in Manaus, where the United States is playing literally in the Amazon jungle against Portugal, already looks like it's a disaster as far as the field surface. As far as politically and protest, there certainly will be some. It's somewhat the nature of any high-profile event. Time will tell what the ramifications are.
Talking to Peter Wilt, GM, General Manager of the IndyEleven there of the NASL, the North American Soccer League there in Indianapolis, IndyEleven.com. Landon Donovan left off the World Cup team. Good idea, or this is madness?
Well, I think the head coach has to have his team. It has to be a team he's comfortable with, that he has the players having his back. And I think it was likely a combination of the soccer end. Landon certainly was not in best form. He was not fit. So there's some soccer elements to it. But there was likely some personal issues where the two just weren't getting along.
Like what? What could be the personal issue? He's the most famous face in U.S. soccer. What's the personal issue?
Back several years. Remember when Jurgen Klinsmann was a head coach in Germany of Bayern Munich, he fought with his management to get Landon Donovan loaned to Bayern Munich in the MLS offseason, and it didn't go well. And then when Jurgen took over for the U.S. team, Landon was on hiatus. He took a mental health break for several months, and that didn't sit well with Jurgen. So they got off to a bad start, and some say have never picked up since.
If the U.S. does not advance out of this group, is Klinsmann done as the coach of the U.S. team?
Very unlikely. The expectations are not that they advance, and he's already signed a contract for another 4 years for a lot of money. So it would be difficult for the U.S. to eat that salary, especially when the expectations are relatively low. They'd have to get blown out in an embarrassing fashion, I think, for a job change right after the World Cup.
Let's get off World Cup. Let's talk about the IndyEleven. Still looking for their first win. Gutted out a 3-3 tie with Atlanta just last weekend. They're off now. There's a break until I think it's the end of July when the IndyEleven are back in action. I am going to ask you a question, and I consider us friends, Peter. When the hell do we get off the schneid and get some victories?
Well, we have the one in the U.S. Open Cup, the historic knockout tournament where it's a David versus Goliath situation. We beat the Dayton Dutch Lions 5-2 a few weeks ago. We now play the Columbus Crew of Major League Soccer next Tuesday in Ohio. If we win that game, then we'll advance to the fifth round against likely the Chicago Fire of Major League Soccer. So we're doing well in the Open Cup. As far as North American Soccer League, we finished the spring season with 4 draws and 5 losses, and we'll start up the fall season July 12th in Atlanta. Now, as you mentioned, we had a tough 3-3 draw that we pulled out, even though we were a man down and down a couple of goals. So I'm thinking when we go back to Carolina. I'm sorry.
Right. Oh, yes. Not Atlanta. You just tied with Atlanta. You're going to see the Railhawks.
Exactly. So when we play them, I think we should be able to get on a winning track. We're going to make some changes, bring in some additional players, and we've been so close to that win. I'm feeling good that the fall season will start out with a couple wins in a row.
You think you can keep the momentum going with a basically a month break, even though you've got the game in Columbus there?
Yeah, everyone's got that month break. I think the team's been playing well for most of the games. There's been some mental lapses, especially in the back, that have cost us dearly. You know, the challenge is we keep on giving up the first goal of the game. 8 of the 9 games this season, we gave up the first goal. And when you put yourself in a hole early on, it can be really tough to get back. And we did pull back even 4 of those games, but we need to do better than that. Our fans have been fantastic, incredibly supportive. They deserve better results, and we promise we will give them to them.
The Brickyard Battalion. I tell you this. I said this to you a couple of weeks ago. I say it again. During halftime, we should serve orange slices to the Brickyard Battalion.
They are the heroes. They've been amazing. 2,000 strong every game, standing for 90 minutes, singing, chanting, really imploring the team.
Yeah.
And they are the heroes. And I can't say enough about how important they've been, not just in their support, but in the atmosphere they create. I mean, we're selling out over 10,000 fans a game, and the atmosphere has been electric throughout the stadium.
If you haven't been to a game yet, it's absolutely incredible. IndyEleven.com, and the Brickyard Battalion is insane. But I'm serious. We get a bunch of soccer moms, and during halftime, we hand out orange slices. I'm telling you, it will be the greatest tradition ever to happen to the Indy 11. Please steal it from me. Just credit me, and then give me a percentage. Peter Wilt, you, sir, are a pleasure. I'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. And thanks, Paige, too, for all your help.
No problem. IndyEleven.com. More ahead. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
You know the saying, if you don't like the weather,
yes,
just wait 10 minutes.
By the way, I think my orange slices idea is brilliant.
Don't like the traffic. That overturned milk.
Hand out orange
like
slices.
A cooler with Kool-Aid as well.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, let's not get silly. But either we need cheerleaders. Either we get cheerleaders or we get, like, seriously, soccer moms.
No, I'm just talking about the cheering section. I'm just going back to the game we went to.
Oh, dude, that was nuts. Are they insane? They're unbelievable.
As we were on the drive home, I kept chanting it to Mark. I was going, hey, hey, you boys in blue.
Center. Over 4,000 men over the last 5 years are performing better than ever, regardless of
but I think that it would be too funny. It would be too funny. Now let me go back to B. Williams here, who's I think he's happy with me, but he's yelling at me.
Long-lasting performance. This is the most
your basic thesis is that I cannot describe it as invasion. That's your basic thesis.
Call 317-454-7700.
You're defining war for me. Why orange slices? Because when you're a kid, I'll get back to B. Williams in a second. When you were a kid growing up and you played soccer, you played like youth soccer, at halftime, that's what you always had. You had orange slices, you know, and you would eat the orange slices and you'd get yourself ready for the game again. Am I the only one that happened to?
I'm gonna let them keep
Paige, I'm not making that up, am I?
By a Unique Home Solutions triple pane window. I'll waste a ton of their energy before they wise up. Plus, in just a few years, it'll be almost impossible to open or close me. Oh, and they think they have a real warranty? Wait till they find out that the warranty on me keeps declining after 2 years, and it doesn't include labor. The way I look at it, I'm one cheap replacement window who's here for keeps.
I'm telling you, it would be funny as can be.
Here comes the mailman. I think the electric bill's due today. The AC's been running, and the bill's gonna be huge. This is not.
But if you haven't been,
I hope they don't find out about Unique.
If you haven't been to an Indy 11 game, you should go. It's great. And B. Williams, I don't mean yelling like yelling. I mean you're yelling at me. I don't know what to call it. You're speaking to me. You are making your point.
Providing you with high quality, great tasting dairy products. We're here on the
but I've already said if you don't want to call it war, let's not call it war. Let's call it whatever it is. But do we find what's happening acceptable? And now what do? We must. If you find what's happening acceptable, well, then you and I are, and I'm not saying you specifically. I mean the generalized you. We're so far apart that it can't be believed.
9 out of 10 girls and 7 out of 10 boys fail to meet daily calcium needs. I have 2 little girls, and I do my part to make sure that they get their 3 a day of dairy for strong bones and their healthy bodies.
Indiana's Dairy Farmers, delivering delicious, nutritious dairy. Get your milk, cheese, or yogurt every single day. Learn more about it. Visit dairyfarmingtoday.org.
Hey, come and see us and check it out for yourself. Our farm is open to the public for tours. For more information, you can visit kelseyfarms.com.
People expect great taste and healthy choices.
In fact, they demand it, and we deliver every single day.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell of the family law firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few more quick divorce tips that we provide our clients.
Divorce tips, Paige. Are you paying attention?
Oh, no, I don't listen to divorce tips.
Divorce
tips.
Not
an option.
The most important final exam you'll ever
You got to
take.
listen, Paige.
I understand
Very important stuff.
Oh, I don't, because we murder yes, divorce never.
These financial
Murder yes, divorce never?
Fields where your most important disputes are
Okay.
We take our vows seriously, Tony.
Maintenance, child support.
So you'll kill him before you'll divorce him?
Custody is impacted.
Pretty much.
Fortunately, this is an open book exam. You can even get help from your attorney. but let me warn you.
It was a joke my grandparents used to have, and Mark and I just took it.
Hilarious. To demand or give
what, those murder jokes?
I didn't say it was funny.
It may be up to you. For more information, check out my
So it's a
book,
joke
10
that's
Stupidest Mistakes
not really a
Men
joke.
Face
It's more
in
like
Divorce. I wish you
It's the idea that
truth.
no matter what, we will work it out.
122-101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Whether you're building, remodeling, upgrading, or just maintaining your home,
30 seconds.
84 Lumber has everything you need to get the job done right now. From unparalleled service and expert advice to all the quality materials necessary to build smarter and on budget. And if 84 Lumber doesn't have what you need, we'll find it for you. No worries, because at 84 Lumber, your project is our project. Find your store at 84lumber.com. That's 84lumber.com.
Art, food, music, and family fun. The Idle Museum Indian Market and Festival, June 21st and 22nd. Kids 17 and under free. Discount tickets at Marsh and idlejorg.org.
To talk to Tony Katz, call 800-571-9422 or 239-9393. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
We didn't even get to predictions. I didn't even get to Peter's prediction for the World Cup. I started asking about the IndyEleven. I got all excited about that. By the way, the good Dr. Katz, my brother, picking Brazil. Actually, picking Brazil over Germany to win it all. Home country to win it all. So I don't know. I don't know if he's right or he's wrong. I am not good enough to know on my soccer. I enjoy the game, but I am not expert enough to make that consideration. If I'm going to take a guess, Papua New Guinea. We'll take it all, Paige. Papua New Guinea.
I would have gone for Samoa, but
but it's American Samoa, so I think they'd be part of the U.S. I don't think they have their own team. I mean, I could be wrong.
They should.
Like
that way, I could say American Samoa plays.
By the way, in the second NBA Finals, the Spurs 33, the Miami Heat 20.
Yes.
Man. Is Sports Mike around?
He just left. Like, he's been sitting here, and then you want to talk sports, and he...
No, because, I mean, the Heat got obliterated in Game 3. I mean, it wasn't okay. It wasn't...
The fact that St. Louis, San Antonio set a record for the most points in a quarter, or was it the half?
I'm not sure. But it was just... I didn't get to see the game. I mean, I've been gone for the past few days. So I haven't been paying perfect attention to near anything. But what I saw was just, oh good gosh, it wasn't. I don't even know what to call it. Now they're down by 12. They're down by 12 right now. In the second, I mean, if the Spurs are up by 12 at the end of the second, at the end of the half, how do you come back from 12 against this team? Maybe you can do it once. Can you do it repeatedly? Can you do it enough to take 4 games out of 7? I don't know. We'll talk more about it in a bit. Also, Paige, a big announcement. Should I make it now?
Sure.
I will be making a big announcement. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's my big announcement.
Big announcement. It's Justin Timberlake night here on Tony Katz Tonight.
It is. It is Justin Timberlake night. I have no idea why it is. Paige has just decided it. So, by the way,
I'm in a JT mood.
I have nothing against Justin Timberlake. I think Timberlake is a talent.
But you're going to say but.
I just don't know what it means to be in a JT mood. I don't know if I can accept that as, decent conversation.
Then I will shut off my mic.
Sure. I don't believe that you'll do that. My thanks, by the way, to Stacey Washington, who was in on Monday, Cameron Gray and Seton Motley, who were in on Tuesday, and the great Cam Edwards from NRA News, who was here on Wednesday. I heard that Shannon Watts wanted to call in, but just didn't make it. Is that true? She wants to talk to Cam Edwards?
The phone lines were a little wonky.
Right.
And,
So if Shannon Watts would like to relay a message to Cam Edwards, we will do that. We will, as a service of Tony Katz Tonight, we will do that for her. So if she wants to call in, we're more than happy to take her comments and pass it along to Cam anytime. More than happy to get that done. So, by the way, the chat room was taking guesses there at TonyKatz.com of what my announcement would be. They were trying to, Paige, figure out what is the big announcement. And I'm trying to go back in history, go back to the archives here, and see what I can see what they said. It's not going back. Hold on a second. Maybe that's it. No, that's
it does
not
erase
either.
After a while.
Yeah, but I'm on the super secret part of it, so I can go back.
Why am I not on the super secret part?
You things you don't need to know. There are things.
Totally need to be in the know. We have a super secret chat ourselves.
There are things that are not meant for you.
I see.
So let me see. Here are some of the guesses. One of them, what was one of them that I was pregnant?
Awkward.
Let me say for the record, no, I am not pregnant. Let me just take that right out of there, and say that. Boston Randy says that Tony got engaged to Katie Holmes, who was formerly married to Tom Cruise, and the answer is I don't take no Cruise sloppy seconds. That's just me. And by the way, it's nothing against Katie. It's nothing against Katie. She's lovely. She's a peach. She's just fantastic. And I like the new haircut. Was that with the bangs or something? Terrific. But I cannot confirm nor deny my relationship with Katie, except to say we're friends. I'll leave it there. Let's see. Tony is moving to Texas. Interesting. Let me see where else is it. Tracked and Targeted, of course, the live show that I do with Kurt Schlichter and Steven Cruiser is going to be made into a documentary. Interesting idea. Absolutely interesting idea. And someone noticed that my wall here, we live stream the show, Paige, and that the stuff that I have usually behind me, well, it's all gone. Huh. That's interesting. That's very interesting. More when we return. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
Summer in Indianapolis, and if you don't want to spend it painting, do what your neighbor
Be right
Glenn
back,
did
guys.
with not one but two homes. He called Rhino Shield.
My wife actually, on our old house, on our roof, and the paint can then fell, covering the roof and the shingles, and it was at that point we said, we just really don't want to do this anymore.
With Rhino Shield, it's not paint. It's so much more.
There is an R factor to the paint. And we actually feel as though we're reduced our heating bills, even our air conditioning bills, just because of the R factor.
Now, Central Indiana, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
And it actually transferred to the new owner.
And as Jim Williams, owner of Rhino Shield, says,
this offer's limited, so hurry. Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
We've watched our neighbors moved in after us already start to repaint, and we're just hooking along.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Oh, hi, honey. Did you swing by Mike's Car Wash for the big Father's Day sale?
Yep,
It's buy 4 washes, get 2 free, right?
that's right.
And is that for any wash?
That it is. Mm-hmm.
The best deal of the year, huh?
That's a big 10-4.
Did you stock up?
Oh, yeah.
And did you remember to get any for your dad this year?
Oh, no.
Now through Father's Day, when you buy any 4 washes from Mike's, you get 2 free. Even our Works Plus wash with 8 signature soaps, Wheel Bright, Clear Coat with Weather Shield, Underbody Wash, and Tire Shine. These are our lowest prices of the year, as low as $5.33 per wash. Just don't forget your dad. Since it's Father's Day and all.
Oh, hi, honey. Did you swing by Mike's Car Wash for the big Father's Day sale?
Yep.
Mike's Car Wash. Clean, fast, friendly.
Hey, Big Joe here for your independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning, located out on the west side of town in Pittsboro. Lloyd and Jessica are longtime American Standard dealers, and here's why.
We went to Tyler, Texas, toured the plant, thought it was an excellent product, and been selling them ever since. Call Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning, 317-892-3614. We try to be as honest as we can with people, and that's why we've been in business 27 years. Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning, 317-892-3614.
Art, food, music, and family fun. The Idle-Jorg Museum Indian Market and Festival, June 21st and 22nd. Kids 17 and under free. Discount tickets at Marsh and idlejorg.org.
From the Plumbing, Heating, Paramedic Studios,
This is Central Indiana's news, weather, and traffic station.
93 WIBC, Indianapolis.
Fox News Radio. I'm Ron Flatter. Militants inspired by Al-Qaeda invading northern Iraq, taking over city after city. They have the attention of President Obama, who says America will help to a point.
This should be also a wake-up call for the Iraqi government. There has to be a political component to this.
Aides say there could be U.S. drone strikes, maybe some kind of air attack, but there's one thing that won't happen.
The Pentagon and the U.S. government are not willing to have U.S. boots on the ground in Iraq. They're not going to risk U.S. lives in Iraq. Balad base is surrounded by Sunnis, and it was vulnerable, and they took the decision to pull the U.S. personnel out. And they've basically put on hold that training mission of the air defense of the Iraqi government.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. California Congressman Kevin McCarthy is now the only confirmed candidate to be the new majority leader in the House, and that's after his last challenger, Pete Sessions of Texas, dropped out of the running.
This is McCarthy's job at this point. He is the sitting whip. He is in a position to move up the food chain here unless somebody else jumps in.
Fox's Capitol reporter Chad Pergram. McCarthy would replace Eric Cantor, who is stepping down as the House's number 2 Republican after losing to Dave Bratt in the Virginia primary. Army soldier Bo Bergdahl is due back in America in a few hours, flying from Germany nearly 2 weeks after he was freed from Afghanistan in exchange for 5 Taliban prisoners.
The risk, when you look at these individuals, is too great for us to have made that exchange.
Republican Senator John McCain, himself a former prisoner of war, speaking tonight in Newport, Rhode Island. Bergdahl will be staying at a military hospital in Texas. A black man thrown out of a city meeting in L.A. is getting more than $200,000. Michael Hunt wore a Ku Klux Klan hood as a form of protest. He sued the city in a freedom of speech case. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Real experience, real insight.
We're following this explosive story.
Nothing gets by Greta. Then
this is all BS. What was that all about?
There's no spin and no question. O'Reilly dominates. Plus, smart, sharp, and cutting edge.
It's the news of the day, but with a little heat.
Megan delivers. And Sean seals the deal with fearless talk.
What part of that are you understanding?
Most watched, most trusted. Fox News Channel.
There's more to Fox News Radio than meets the ear. Go behind the headlines and join the conversation on the hottest stories of the day on the Fox News Radio Facebook page. Be a part of the Fox News Radio Facebook fan community. Post comment and tell us your opinions. See behind-the-scenes photos and videos and post your reactions to the stories that matter to you. Click the like button on Facebook and connect with breaking news and features like Fox in the Fast Lane, House Call for Help, and more. Go to facebook.com/Fox News Radio.
Wow, this is Dick from Dr. Dirt. With the recent storms, if you think you have hail damage, call the only company I recommend. All-Star Roof Siding and more at 317-522-6409. I didn't think I had hail damage, but Tom Myers, All-Star owner, came out, met my insurance adjuster, worked with my company's pricing, and now I have a new roof, gutters, gutter covers, siding, and they even fixed my interior. All-Star is family-owned and BBB complaint-free.
Thanks, Dick. This is Tom Myers, owner of All-Star Roof Siding and More, and I'm a retired insurance agent with over 16 years experience in hail damage claims. Your house is too valuable to use just any company. Just ask Dr. Dirt.
Thank you, Tom. All-Star did a great job on my house. Call the expert at All-Star Roof Siding and More at 317-522-6409. That's 317-522-6409. Keep that number handy for future storms.
I'm Alex Brown in the 93 WIBC 24-hour news center. A broken wheelchair left in the intersection of 34th and Georgetown told the story. The woman who was in that chair died later of the injury she suffered when she was hit by a car. Police say the driver remained at the scene and they do not believe speed or alcohol were involved. The names have not been released. 20 years ago Thursday, police found the bodies of O.J. Simpson's estranged wife and a Los Angeles waiter, touching off one of the most sensational murder cases in U.S. history and a debate over cameras in the courtroom.
11 months after O.J. Simpson's acquittal, the Indiana Supreme Court began allowing cameras to record oral arguments. It made the authorization permanent in 2000. Then Chief Justice Randall Shepard says the video archive has been a great resource for the public and for law students, but he says allowing cameras in trial courts would be very different.
Witnesses are not volunteers, right? They're people who didn't volunteer to become television or radio figures, and so their interests are entitled to some consideration.
The justices did try a pilot program allowing cameras in a handful of courts if both sides agreed to it. Shepard says it was discontinued because hardly anyone did. Eric Berman, 93 WIBC News.
Hopcat, the bar and restaurant operator with 6 locations in Michigan, is opening August 16th at College of Mark Sellers founded Hotcat.
We targeted
Hotcat
because it's a large city that we didn't feel had enough great craft beer bars.
Hot
Idaho?
What? He may be.
Because 208's an Idaho area code.
He may be. Center opens adjacent to the site June 30th. You're up to date. Get local news on demand at WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast.
Soccer is the Justin Bieber of organized sports.
That's full moon tonight. Isolated showers and thunderstorms may obstruct your view, though. Down to 63. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny.
Man.
Humidity high of
What did I do to myself? Holy cow.
I'm our TV6 meteorologist, Kevin Gregory.
Let me know when he's on.
I got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
Tony Katz Tonight. Great to be with all of you. 317-239-9393. If you have not been following it, it seems that everything we have done in Iraq is falling by the wayside. Rebels out of Syria, Al-Qaeda aligned, taking the towns of Tikrit and Mosul. And according to many, Baghdad will fall, including some military people I know. Joining us to discuss it, he is the president of DCI Advisory on Twitter at Yates of DCI. He is Stephen Yates. Stephen, thanks for joining us. Let's take a step back here and get a bigger overview of what we're talking about. What is this group, ISIS? How do they come to be? And how are they so easily traversing the country and taking towns?
Well, Tony, it really comes back to the broader narrative of the Middle East, which is the Sunni-Shia divide. There's been a struggle for mastery in the broader Middle East for some time. It predates Barack Obama. It predates George W. Bush. It goes back even before the first Gulf War. And we looked primarily at the influence Iran has been accumulating, the influence it exercised during our experience in the Iraq War. But most recently, we've seen what has primarily been the Shia uprising in the last few years that reached out of Tehran and influenced the Syrian civil war. The 3 years of that civil war saw a lot of advantage accruing to the Shia side of this ledger. This ISIS group is a Sunni response, and it was coming out of the Arabian Peninsula, and it's forces that aimed to go in and push back against the Shia in Syria. So you basically had a jump ball in that country between the two Islamist factions to control the broader region. As Syria has gone on, we had American withdrawal in Iraq and other instability following there, and these forces find target of opportunity to spread into Iraq.
So you have now this Sunni group, ISIS, which stands for Islamic. It's Islamic State. What?
In Syria and Iraq.
Okay. So
Iraq and Syria.
Iraq and Syria. Islamic State, Iraq and Syria. So you have this Sunni group that is heading through Iraq, taking towns, How big are they that they can take Baghdad? And what happened to these U.S. trained fighters that supposedly we helped, we created?
Right. Well, Iraq has a long history of being dominated by outside militaries coming in, and there's been a consistent pattern. That was our experience in the first Gulf War. It happened multiple times in the last decade when we invaded, and then when we had different periods of the insurgencies where outside fighters came in and took over. And basically, if you're in the Iraqi military and you see an overwhelming force coming in and you don't think you've got backup, then what you do is you put up your hands, drop your weapons, and run to try to survive. And that's what they've done multiple times. And part of the consequence is, of course, we have a very divided and largely unled polity in our own country at this point about what we would try to accomplish in Iraq. And so without any kind of leadership, then there's an overwhelming support for withdrawal, but one of the consequences of withdrawal are the people of Iraq that believed that we were there to help and thought they were going to have a better future are now left to fend for themselves, dealing with these other devils that come in from the outside. That's sad, but we have the debate now about whether it's our problem or not.
Well, a military official that I spoke to today, an anonymous source, if you will, said that absolutely positively, without the United States getting back in, Baghdad falls. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think the odds favor that assessment. It's sad, but I think, really what we have is an elected leadership in Iraq, and there were some questions about the election, but there it is, that was leaning towards Tehran, basically had more favorable relations with the Shia side. And that's not the majority in Iraq. And so you've got a Sunni activist group that is going to be marshaling the aggrieved majority in Iraq to support its cause.
Now, by the way, when we talk about Sunni activist group, let's at least understand what we're talking about. We're talking with Stephen Yates of DCI Advisory. We're talking about guys in pickup trucks with guns mounted to it. We're not talking about tanks and hundreds of thousands of troops, are we?
No, we're not, but they are taking the equipment that we left behind for the Iraqi security forces, like as you were alluding to. So they have some significant capabilities that they're acquiring as they come in and other people flee or drop their weapons. So they're getting some heavy equipment abilities. I haven't seen any indication that they have air power capabilities and things like that. But you're also talking about a group that was said by some to be too extreme for Al-Qaeda. And so you have to sort of take a moment to digest what it means for a group to be too extreme for Al-Qaeda.
Right. And
these are hardened terrorist warriors.
The term that's being used is either Al-Qaeda aligned or Al-Qaeda inspired. That's what I'm seeing a lot of.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, but basically what we have is a permissive environment for violence and for extremism. And what you have are people on one side that come from the Shia bent and others from the Sunni bent, but they're both arcing towards a policy that is a marriage between mosque and state, where force is used to compel others to accept your interpretation of one religion or die.
According to this from the International Business Times, the headline is Iraq ISIS crisis, medieval Sharia law imposed on millions in the Nineveh province. It's being imposed on citizens just days after capturing the provincial capital of Mosul. So here's the question, Stephen. If this Sunni faction takes Baghdad, and now they get access to a fair amount of what we left behind, now you have no buffer to Iran. What's going to be their natural reaction?
Well, I think their natural reaction is war. And their natural reaction might be to have that war take place within Iraq because they have a long history of doing that. They've already promised to send thousands of Quds fighters, and the Prime Minister of Iraq has said that he has dismissed the request or the offer at this point, but may reconsider if Baghdad appears to be on the verge of falling or falls. But there's no way that a plausible analyst could say that Iran is just going to sit and watch as its strategic advantage is eroded.
So when Iran
fight for decades.
Right. So when Iran decides they're going to engage, because you could argue, as some did, that for how awful Saddam Hussein was, and he was awful, not being Sunni or Shia, Ba'athist, I believe, kept a lot of these issues at bay, didn't allow these kinds of fights to happen. So Iran comes in, they're clearly going to be more well fortified, they're going to be able to fight, they're going to come into Iraq. Are they ever going to leave?
I don't think that they're going to leave willingly, and it's basically going to be a long struggle. The problem is that any one side in this struggle, if it takes control of Iraq, even for a short period of time, we would be talking about one of the largest sovereign states ever to be controlled by an Islamist faction with the resources of one of the world's largest oil reserves and commitment to broader jihad. So, if we thought we faced a strategic problem in Afghanistan under the Taliban, allowing al-Qaeda to have a permissive environment, think of all of the bad things that could happen with either of these factions taking control of Iraq. That's the unpleasant choice we have before us.
One of the conversations...
whether and how we can influence it.
Sorry about that. One of the conversations that I have heard is that so much of this is caused by the ineffectiveness of the Obama administration foreign policy, specifically in Syria, and allowing for the power vacuum to take place. It's about conversation about not providing help to the insurgents there who are fighting against Bashar al-Assad. Not only the U.S., there's also conversation about Britain. How much of this is due to a lack of American foreign policy?
I think a great deal is. Now, I would caveat that with this was never going to be easy. We're dealing with long-standing, complicated, terrible problems in the Middle East that we're going to face any president under any circumstance. It's always a question of managing them. But you can't escape the fact that this group, ISIS, wouldn't exist but for the protracted Syrian civil war. It would not be marching across Iraq now if it hadn't had a permissive environment to fight, thrive, recruit, and prepare for that march these past few years in Syria. So the failure to do anything effective in Syria, in fact, worse, I thought it was more damaging to us to have written the red line in invisible ink, proven ourselves feckless, and then thus dispiriting anyone who thought they could rely on us and emboldening the bad guys.
So here's the question. The question, is the United States going to get back involved? Are we going to send in a brigade? Are we going to send in an airstrike? Or are we going to let this happen?
I think that we are on the trajectory of just letting it happen. There's very little in the Obama administration's decision-making process that's clearer than the notion of staying out of Iraq and trying to just close the book on it and basically washing our hands of any responsibility. I don't know that. I think that that's a legitimate part of the debate. It's just not where I come down. I think that there are consequences to inaction. I think when danger is gathering, we can choose whether or not we want to be involved at the moment, but we don't get to choose the consequences that follow. And I just think that we have bad options, we have risky options. The Obama administration seems determined not to do much at all. And they probably have a lot of the country behind them because the country hasn't really been brought into this debate, and we haven't really had Congress involved at all.
Stephen Yates, DCI Advisory.com. On Twitter, Yates DCIA. Stephen, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Tony. Take care.
More ahead. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
93 WIBC.
Did he make a deal with the devil?
I was coughing all the way through.
The president may have the right to do it.
Woo!
You should do it.
Another news.
Bad. Sorry about the going long, but I wanted to hear him.
Just as we're
To me or the peeps?
Get the facts.
To you, Paige, to you.
I mean, it's no big deal. It's just at that point, since our breaks are so long, where you're going to have like, a 2 minute.
You know what? I'm fine with it. That was worthwhile stuff.
He was very good. I wanted to ask him, but I didn't have enough time if that was an Idaho number. But it also might sound creepy, so probably best.
What are you wearing? I mean, that's what comes next.
Well, I lived in Idaho, and it was 208 area.
Dude, you're like 9 years old. Is there any place you haven't lived?
30 to 40% of the money you spend.
spend goes towards
Yeah, lots of places.
the quality of the mattress. I've personally been in the mattress business for over 30 years.
Just 5 states.
Expensive, overpriced brands. I can tell you these mattresses are not as good a quality. They're not as comfortable.
There's a pool?
Longer than the beds made from the right local mattress company.
B. Williams, there's a pool as to what my announcement's going to be? Can I see it?
Southern Indiana. They carry a superior warranty. They are thicker, plusher, and they are higher quality than any of the national brands out there. And when you buy one, you won't be paying all of that extra money for an expensive advertising campaign to talk about counting sheet.
We are going to watch Iraq fall. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. If you're in the military, what do you do? Do you just stare at your television or stare at these stories and do you cry? Do you just put your hand on your head? Do you just start drinking seriously?
If you need reliable, high-quality video production, look no further than PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com provides promotional videos, training videos, and conference and event coverage nationwide. Get a high-quality, consistent look to your corporate videos with the most reliable video company in the country. Visit PrimeImageMedia.com today to learn more. Mention Tony Katz and get 10% off your first production. That's PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com.
Partnerships can be a wonderful thing. Together,
3 minutes.
They never
Thank
could
you.
alone. But sometimes good partnerships go bad.
Yeah, that really
when
hurt.
that happens, people together achieve less than they could alone, or so they believe. Marriage is like that, but it's also much more than that. On the one hand, marriage is by far
On one hand, but then on the other hand,
everything people
there's also another hand.
Kids become a sort of partnership.
By the way, it's his voice that I love. Like, he is the Matthew McConaughey of divorce attorneys.
That makes marriage a unique partnership. Personal success is less important than partnership success.
But just the same.
Unfortunately, the marital partnership is a fragile one. Only one partner's vote is necessary to destroy it. Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Our firm represents men whose partners have cast that vote.
Call Cordell & Cordell, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Offices in Carmel, Hamilton County, and downtown Indianapolis. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 462.
And yes, this game is over. Is Sports Mike in the room?
Windoman, a locally owned family business with the complaint-free Better Business rating.
My goodness, get me some Sports Mike!
And that's why I decided to tell all my friends about how much we love our new windows. Windowman carries a wide variety of high-quality American-made windows in various styles, shapes, sizes, and colors.
We must have some Sports Mike!
Are qualified, carry the Good Housekeeping seal, and are backed by a double lifetime warranty.
I'm texting him.
And I really love the beautiful double-hung windows they installed and how easy they are to clean. But most of all, we love the lower.
I just got an email about snoring solutions. Is there something I need to know?
So go ahead and call our friends today at Windowman 443-9000 or
Is there something that I need to be made aware of?
.com. Again, that number 443-9000.
Excuse me.
He does it right.
It's really bad. Like, so I was taking a drink during the break and something went down the wrong pipe, and it's just.
So many things can go wrong with knees. Who do you go see? You go to your regular doctor, or do you go to a specialist, whether you're 8 or 80, if you have knee problems?
Whether you're
go to
8
Shelbourne
or
Knee
80.
Center, the only doctors and therapists
Good people
who
at Shelbourne
specialize
Knee
in
Center.
treating knees. Dan Dockett's here for the Shelbourne Knee Center. They will
He's coming.
your problem, get you on the path to recovery. Find out more at fixknee.com/Dockage or call 888-FIX-KNEE in collaboration with Indiana University Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. The Shelbourne Knee Center, one focus, proven results. Nailed it.
Getting ready to buy your dream home? Go to meridianmortgagesolutions.net and right now get a rate starting in the twos. Little to no out-of-pocket closing cost and your loan closed quick. We even offer a $500 credit on homes purchased with Meridian Mortgage Solutions. Perfect or less than perfect credit, call now. 317-968-9500 or apply online at meridianmortgagesolutions.net.
All loans and rates are subject to credit approval. Programs and rates are subject to change. Additional terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. See letter for restrictions and details. NMLS number 2975.
Tim's Shooting Academy in Westfield is open to the public with 15 shooting lanes, a full-service store,
And that's just
for
it.
all levels of shooters.
Prairie.
Visit us at Tim's Shooting Academy.
Do they feel it was for nothing?
Inside Indiana Business Radio.
I mean, do they feel it was for nothing?
Get ahead. Indiana's business news leader. Weekdays at 6:40 and 5:35 p.m. on WIBC.
To talk to Tony Katz, call 800-571-9422 or 239-9393. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
Paige has got us with a Justin Timberlake theme tonight, folks. You got issues with the music, Paige at WIBC.com. I say just roll with it. Get up off the couch and dance. By the way, the chat room has a pool going to what the big announcement's going to be, which will be announced in mere moments. Mere moments, Paige. But they've got a pool going as to what it is. Do you know what the big announcement is, Paige?
I don't know.
That's not true. You do know.
I know.
See,
I'm
so
trying to
you
be cryptic.
Yes. You don't.
Then why did you ask me if I know?
Because you're allowed to say I know, and then people can say, "Wait a second, Paige knows." That's not right.
But we didn't have that conversation, so I wasn't sure if I was allowed to know.
Well, never lie. Never lie to the audience. That is rule number one. That is rule number one. Clear and simple. By the way, the chat room is also asking, thanks to Stephen Yates, who was on just earlier, to be able to get the podcast at TonyKatz.com. If indeed we've got this group, Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, taking over towns in Iraq, they're going to take Baghdad. If we, my source is, if we don't send in a brigade, if we don't send in an airstrike, they're going to take Baghdad. What? And then now you're going to have Iran coming in. There's a question that they're asking, which is, what was the point? Was it all for nothing? And my follow-up to that, which is a little bit worse, which is that the point someone's trying to make? Taking a victory and turning it into a loss? We have a history of that. Just look at Vietnam. I don't know how the soldier, the warrior, thinks of that. I'm not about to speculate for them, but I think it is a legitimate question. Let me quickly just update everybody. The NBA, they're at the half in the finals, game 4. The Spurs 55, the Heat 36. Sports Mike joins us. Dude, that's 20 points. What the hell?
Yeah. What the heck? Exactly.
That's my question, son. Listen, I am not a man who's interested in detailed analysis.
Yeah.
Let's start with the what the hell conversation.
I'm going to start with the fact that I'm going to give up on predicting things because I gave you the Rangers would beat the Kings. That's obviously not going to happen. I gave you the Heat would beat the Spurs.
It's
That's
2-1. Stop.
No,
Rangers
3-1.
Have I been on vacation so long I have no idea what's going on?
Yeah, it should have been over last night,
right.
but it's
2-1.
3-1. Yeah, 3-1. So, I mean, the two predictions I have made have been bogus at the end of the day. So, I don't know. The Spurs team, they don't miss. I mean, it doesn't matter what Miami does. If you don't miss, it doesn't matter. I mean, they broke the record the other night for the most, the highest field goal percentage in a half ever, and they're shooting 56% in this half. I mean, if you don't miss, it doesn't matter.
LeBron, by the way, is 3 for 7 and 2 for 3 from three-point range. He has 9 points. 9 points thus far in the game. Bosch has 8 and Dwayne Wade has 4. Is there a problem that we don't know about? Like, is LeBron still cramping? What is the real issue?
Well, he left briefly and then is back, and now he's a -15 tonight. So it's not exactly. It's not LeBron's night. I don't know. The weird part about LeBron is, he'll occasionally lay an egg. And then come back to the next game, he'll probably have 42, and the Heat will win.
Exactly.
So I mean, he does do this in his career, and as I've told you a couple of times, I mean, I've covered the guy since he was in high school, and he would do this in high school occasionally as well. He would lay an egg occasionally, and then he'd come back and be all worldly the next game. And so this is exactly what I expect will happen. I expect that they'll lose this game. The next game, he'll have to listen to it for 2 or 3 more days or 2 days. LeBron, you're terrible, and he'll get a chip on his shoulder again, and he'll go out and he'll have 39 or 42 in the next game, and then they'll make it 3-2, and then it's a different series. But it's not his night tonight, and it's not the Heat's night tonight. Clearly,
if they go down 3-1, do they have any chance of pulling this out?
No,
I mean, 3-1 against the Spurs is not a.
No, 3-1 against the Spurs in this series, it's over. As far as I'm concerned, if they're down 3-1, this series is done.
Sports Mike, I appreciate it. Much more ahead. Keep it here, everybody. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
This hour is powered by Museums.
Thank you, Mike.
Market.
It's time to breathe better, Indy. Franciscan St. Francis Health, the American Lung Association, and Emmis Communications are on a mission to help Central Indiana Hoosiers improve their lung health.
Did you know lung cancer accounts for more deaths than any other cancer in both men and women? Sadly, about 3,800 Hoosiers die from lung cancer each year. If you are between the ages of 55 and 75 and a current or former smoker with a long history of smoking, you may qualify for a $69 lung CT screening at Franciscan St. Francis Health. The screening is simple and provided at locations in Indianapolis, Mooresville, and Carmel. And since smoking increases your risk of heart disease, a heart scan is included.
I want to know about this pool. Like, tell me what's going on.
To find out if you qualify for a
I want to know. I want to know who's betting on what.
Or call 877-751.
It's very important that I know these things. There's a pool going of what my announcement's going to be.
Video production,
I want to know what the pool is.
PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com provides promotional videos, training videos, and conference and event coverage nationwide. Get a high-quality, consistent look to your corporate videos with the most reliable video company in the country. Visit PrimeImageMedia.com today to learn more. Mention Tony Katz and get 10% off your first production. That's PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com.
Summer in Indianapolis, and if you don't want to spend it painting, do what you know Patty did. She called Rhino Shield.
What motivated me to call was two projects that we had at our house. The summers would come and go, and I finally just said, got to get these two things painted. They look terrible, and it needs to be done, and that's how we got involved with Rhino Shield.
With Rhino Shield, it's not paint. It's so much more.
Colors matched up very well with our house, and they were in and out, no mess. It all looks great. I was very pleased.
Now Central Indiana, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 10% off the regular price.
Call Rhino Shield. The professional people that will come out and do the painting is worth the investment.
And as Jim Williams, owner of Rhino Shield, says,
this offer's limited, so hurry. Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
What I want is a place where I'm more than a patient ID number.
What I expect is a place that gives me access to some of the best and brightest.
What I need is a place where the size is just right.
What I want.
What I expect.
What I need is Riverview Health.
Riverview Hospital.
All right.
Riverview Health. Right size, right care. Right here. Located in Noblesville, Carmel, Cicero, Fishers, Sheridan, Tipton, and Westfield. To learn more, visit riverview.org.
Hey, Steve Simpson here. So when's the last time you said, hey, I can't wait for this weekend. I'm going to spend it on...
Oh, you know who else knows what the announcement is?
Let's face it, you've never said that.
You can apply pressure if you want.
And it's dangerous.
Holly Bacon.
Actually, clogged gutters are dangerous for your house. They can rot the wood. They can damage your foundation. They can even flood your basement.
Sports Mike would just like to know what time the announcement is because he's been in here 3 times. So if you could super secret chat.
Sports Mike can, just wait like everybody else.
Sports Mike has a job to do.
Guard gutters will not clog. If they ever do, they'll come out to your house and unclog them.
He's got to go tuck himself in a sound booth at some point and put together the morning package.
My days of clogged gutters are over forever. Call Leaf Guard. See how you could qualify for free installation. Here's the number, 546-0600, 546-0600.
He'll have to wait.
Are you looking for teaching and preaching that is biblically based?
Oh, crap. Stephen Cruiser's in.
John Gable of Tabernacle Presbyterian Church.
We like to believe that every church is Bible-based, but we also believe...
Stephen Cruiser's in the chat room. Hold on. Let me get him on the show.
The Bible should engage, challenge us, not just our hearts, but our minds and actions as well. God didn't make us to be robots, but living, loving
Here, Paige.
with the ability
Just call
to
Stephen
respond to
Cruiser.
him and the needs of others. This means
is he on next?
Come from tabs, pulpit, or
I'm putting him on. He doesn't even know.
delivered with thoughtfulness and
I saw him in the chat room.
They challenge and encourage us to think about what God is asking us to do. We hope you'll visit soon.
Call him. Tell him I want him on.
Yourself how God is
Tell him we're going to talk about cancer.
Tabernacle Presbyterian Church, 34th Street and Central Avenue.
See, come into the chat room and I will just do stuff to you.
9 or 11. If you can't make it,
What are you talking about?
into Sunday with Tab.
Sunday mornings at 6:30.
Call Stephen
Right.
Cruiser.
What are you talking about?
We're going to talk about Eric Cantor.
Okay.
It doesn't even matter. It's Steven. I'll be like, hey. And then he'll just start talking for like an hour. He'll host the damn show. He doesn't care.
11% after rebate on all lumber, roofing, and siding. Save 11% after rebate on all decking, fencing, and landscape blocks. Save 11% on all paint and stain.
He says he's here.
Grills, patio furniture, trimmers, and mowers.
Excellent.
Good through Saturday, June 14th.
Also, somebody who knows the announcement, Stephen Cruiser.
Have more fun.
Hey, a level, mere moments could mean a lot of things. My moments take a long time, baby.
I can't wait to get you on the
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Tony Katz Tonight. Follow Tony on Twitter at Tony Katz.
You're in.
It's Justin Timberlake night here at Tony Katz Tonight, according to Paige. And I was looking there in the chat room, everyone getting ready for the announcement. And Stephen Cruiser was in there, of course, his weekly article at Daily Caller. Find him on Twitter at Stephen Cruiser, Kruiser. Stephen, I throw you on the program, man, because I love you.
I know. I love you, too.
I have not done the announcement yet. I have told people that you know what the announcement is. You are aware of what
I've been sitting on this one for a long time. I tuned in just to find out when I can finally talk about it.
But let's talk about this, because I've been off the air for the past few days, and it's funny. I was off the air, but you were on with Stacey Washington, which is very meta, for sure. Yeah. The Eric Cantor race, the Cantor Bratt thing. I am seeing people come out and talk about David Bratt, Tea Party candidate. Listen, we're both Tea Party guys. We founded this stuff in Los Angeles. We were there, those original events. I was not a guy who was aware of David Bratt, but the people on the ground in Virginia were. But there are a lot of national groups out there now saying, we got to get behind David Bratt, and if you give us $10, we can help make it happen. Is it okay to fundraise off of a guy you didn't give any support to begin with?
In politics, I hate to be one of the ones that go, well, you're just trying to raise money off of this, because that's all any political group is ever trying to do, is just raise money anyway. I mean, I just got a 5-page survey about Obamacare right now just to get to the, will you give me $50 at the end, in the mail. That's what it's always about. So I think it's, in this case, what disturbs me, and you and I have had misgivings with national groups for years. I wrote for one for a long time, but
that did not end well.
I don't like it.
That did not end well.
That did not end well. But the rumor has it, and I have not confirmed this, that he tried to get some support from some of these groups early on, and they just ignored it.
Well,
in that case, I would say it's most definitely not good for them to be out fundraising for him now.
So according to one of my sources, one of them, Tea Party Patriots, to which they have a right to exist, but I am not a fan of national groups, and I never have been, said that it would have been political suicide or political something or other to give him money when he was so far down in the polls. Aren't the Tea Party guys supposed to be the ones who say, you support our values, therefore we support you, and not worry about polling?
Yeah, I had that argument with a variety of national groups in the 2010 elections. Anybody that didn't look like a sure deal, they were kind of shying away from it. I'm going, that's really not the point here, guys.
Right.
And it ended up biting them. I mean, there was a race in Arizona where we could have possibly unseated Raul Grijalva, the chair of the Progressive Caucus. That got within a few points, but the Tea Party groups and the national and the NRCC ignored her.
By the way, Raul Grijalva was the one who wanted to boycott his own state for conventions after SB 1070. I'm sorry. I mean, that's
Satan aspires to be Raul Grijalva.
But it's really a serious problem that we have these national groups that claim to be in charge. I have to reject the premise on every level. One of the things that we knew early on and we discussed early on is that while I don't mind coordination, I mind the idea of leadership. The people in Virginia knew far better than us what was going on in the 7th District. Now, the real question is Cantor's loss, Steve. We're talking with Stephen Cruiser. By the way, get his book, Don't Let the Hippies Shower, at Amazon.com. Don't Let the Hippies Shower, Amazon.com. Did Cantor lose because of immigration? Did Cantor lose because he wasn't representing his district? Or, as the left is now trying to tell me, because he was Jewish?
I think from what I've been able to gather the last couple of days, it's a combination of the first two. He's very out of touch with his district. He was the line I've heard over and over from a variety of people is that he was actually running for speaker and not to represent the people of his district.
Yeah.
And I think, but this immigration thing is really starting to bug people, but it doesn't really matter because now McCarthy is going to be the new majority leader, and all is well because the GOP has the same amnesia that the Democrats do.
Yeah,
it happened more than 24 hours ago. It didn't happen.
Right.
You know?
If you talk to John Fleischman of the Flash Report, which is all about California politics, and a friend of ours, man, does he everything except want to slap McCarthy in the mouth. Like, he thinks of McCarthy as a squish, just a guy who has no spine and no backbone and pure establishment. Pure establishment.
Well, and it's easy to make a case now. I was talking to John Phillips today about this, and I don't think that there is an issue that's more encapsulates the detachment that the elites in Washington have from the American electorate than immigration. There's so many, we keep being told that we have to do it. Well, why? Why do you have to do it? Nobody makes the case. Well, because of the demographics. That's all the Republicans. They mumble demographics in their sleep like that's going to do them any good. And then as John pointed out, McCain's been kissing that butt for years, and he did horrible with Hispanic voters in 2008. And so it's just their reasoning behind it has no basis in reality, and they keep telling us it's what we have to do, and the electorate keeps saying nobody wants to do this.
Let me change gears on you just a bit, because I know you're friends with a guy by the name of John Justice, a fantastic radio host down in Tucson. You yourself from Tucson, and we talked about it earlier, this immigration dump that is taking place in Tucson. From your people there, exactly how bad is it?
Oh, it's horrible, and it's always been horrible. It's just, John has done yeoman's work to make everybody finally realize how horrible it is in this case. What he's done in the last couple of weeks, you and I were talking about it the other night. It's just amazing the way he's brought attention to this, because this is the kind of thing. Arizona bears the worst part of the immigration problem always, far worse than Texas ever will. I mean, I laugh at Texas people telling me that they've got an immigration problem. Nothing compared to Arizona's. Even California does not have the violence problems that Arizona does, because California's got Baja California underneath it, not, the pipeline coming straight up from the Yucatan Peninsula through Sonora through, So Arizona's always dealing with these problems. I mean, these problems have been going on since I was a kid, and I'm not a young man.
No, you're not. People don't know that about you. Stephen Cruiser's 106 years old. Did
moisturize?
Well, I didn't want to get to your personal life, but sure.
I have a body butter that I use. It's incredible.
What we're now seeing, and especially this concept of kids, like a 7-year-old is somehow making their way from Guatemala all by themselves. Do you think that had a connection to the Cantor conversation when we talk about immigration? And does it, taking it a step further, have a conversation to where Americans see immigration reform? Is it on their radar as in we have to let these people in? Or is it on their radar, and not politically speaking, though, from just what do people think, do we have to let these people in? Or is it, hey, this is a real problem, we've got to shut this down and figure it out?
Well, as far as the Cantor part of it goes, I think the timing was not very fortuitous for him, for this to be hitting the fan, given, where he's been on immigration all along. I don't know how much it may have impacted it. I still don't know how much people in the East or Northeast or anywhere, I've been living in border states my entire life, so I've got a border state resident's perspective of immigration. I don't know how much it really hits other people, but I would think that definitely the optics were not good leading into this.
And so, in your knowledge of this, because you have a better knowledge of this than most, are Americans going to say to themselves, we got to let these kids in, we got to let these people in, we got to give them amnesty, we got to make them citizens? Or are the masses saying, oh, no, this is an attack, this is an assault, it's an attack, it is what it is?
I think the people in the border states will go more for the latter immediately. It's, they're going to try to. I think this is a well orchestrated thing. Going, get the kids in, because it's always been about, the kids. You can't be mean to the kids. We got to give the kids the college education. The kids, and that's how they're weaseling their way in. And now we got to grandfather the benefits to the parents because the kids. And I think it's just an insidious way that they're going about it. And I think it's orchestrated by government. And part of the big problem, and I will say this, and I've said it all along, is that every American president, Republican, Democrat, goes down to Mexico, kisses whomever's in power in Mexico's butt at the time, and does not force them to do anything on their end of it.
That is very true. We allowed Calderon to speak on the floor of the House, and he basically chastised the United States Congress for not doing enough to let more people into the country. That was a few years ago.
Vicente Fox's government was printing up maps showing them where the easiest places to cross the border illegally were. And Bush would go down and pal around with him and talk about cowboy boots.
Stephen Cruiser is his name. The book, Don't Let the Hippies Shower, available at Amazon.com. Stick around. Announcement coming. It's going to be good, Stephen. Will you agree that it is not a world-class announcement?
It's not as big as if you'd finally come out. No.
Well, I don't know what to say about that. Basically, you can do that anywhere these days. I mean, that's pretty easy. What I'm doing, far more difficult.
I think it's to paraphrase our idiot vice president. I think it's a pretty big effing deal. So.
Thank you very much, Stephen Cruiser. More ahead. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
You've shared links, liked posts, and been tagged in some things in which you really didn't want to be. From declining game invites to reluctantly accepting friend requests from forgotten.
You see, nobody ever does policy.
Put some actual news.
No one ever does policy cruiser. Policy cruiser is a good cruiser. Like he gets heady. He gets meta.
It's social
very, very, very meta.
And you're invited to join us. Click on our Facebook and Twitter links on WIBC.com.
Announcing the Mike's Car Wash Father's Day stock up with our lowest prices of the year, as low as $5.33 per wash. Any washes, buy 4, get 2 free.
Oh, this is going to be good. By the way, if you haven't read the book, Don't Let the Hippie Shower, it's really good. The first chapter alone is like everything you've ever thought, but there it is, and you're like, oh man, he beat me to it. Like 3 different times, I'm like, oh.
Your dad. There's nobody.
But then again, I say it anyway, and I give him no credit whatsoever.
Like your dad. No credit whatsoever. Every wash book is on sale.
But in honor of Stephen, I am not wearing pants.
Including Tire Shine. And they're all buy 4 wash.
I don't know what to do with that information.
Stephen has an issue with pants.
$5.33 per wash.
Wear shorts?
No. In general, anything.
So he's just like a nudist.
No. He believes in boxers, just not pants. Listen, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's okay.
The frustration of trying to describe to someone a very complicated experience.
I don't think it's okay.
Simply throwing up a hand and saying, you just had to be there. Hi, I'm Joe Cordell from law firm Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is a lot like that, especially for men. Words just won't provide the full picture, but neither will walking away, especially when you're experiencing.
Yes, you enter the chat room. You should not be surprised if I throw you on the air.
I would not have chosen.
That's just the way it works.
My divorce was years ago, but I still feel a connection with every guy that.
You want me to prove that I'm not wearing pants, Prue?
We work to help men maximize their role in their children's lives, and this includes protecting men's financial.
I'm just going to go out there and say I'm okay.
Domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell.
Well, you're okay with what?
Count on 317.
Not seeing it whether or not you're wearing pants.
See, you don't get to decide these things.
Offices in Carmel, Hamilton County, and downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Cloud may be just another overused buzzword, but the cloud is an effective computing environment that can save your business time and money. Barracuda Networks is no stranger to the cloud. In fact, all of our security and storage solutions connect to the cloud for continuous updates and off-site redundancy. Barracuda's cloud also plays host to our email security, web security, file sharing, and e-signing services. We even offer solutions on Amazon's AWS and Microsoft's Azure public cloud platforms. To try any of our cloud-connected solutions, visit barracuda.com.
I'm getting messages from Fingers Malloy of FTR Radio. If I will give the announcement to him.
It drives you to tackle the hard stuff, to stop gun violence, protect voter
Well,
rights.
Brad, the answer to your question of get me on the show, I know Cruiser, I know his policies, I know where he's spoken, I know where he's written. I know you're doing some writing, and I think you should continue to do some writing. You got to do more out there. You got to give me the reason.
Spring.
Right? So you got to say to me, hey, Tony, this is what I'm the expert at, and here's how I prove I'm the expert, and here are the articles I've wrote about that, and if you ever got anything on this subject, let me know. I can help. Right? It's not about, and I say this to a lot of people, it's really important. It's not about being on radio for the sake of being on. And it's a great way to get on stations all across the country. You have to be of service to that host. Provide something to that host. They'll have you on. They'll just do it. Totally. But you got to be able to provide a purpose to them, a value to them, and you have to be able to show an expertise that they need to be able to be more relatable and more and have a better relationship with their audience. There. Thus endeth the lesson.
This is Tony Katz Tonight. Follow Tony on Twitter at Tony Katz.
You're in.
My thanks to Stephen Cruiser. Don't let the hippies shower. Amazon.com. I was saying in the chat room that, you know, if you come in the chat room, I may put you on the air. And some people were like, well, put me on the air. I was just giving this advice. I'll do it again. I have said this to everyone I have ever met, everywhere I go. Because people will, I don't know if you get this or not, Paige, but people will come up to you. I mean, the conventions that I go to, whatever. Hey, I'd be a great guest for your show. I have never met you. I have never read a thing you have written, and you have not established a level of expertise in a subject.
I'm a great person. I should be on your show.
Right. Well, what do you talk about? I can talk about anything. Everybody can talk about anything. One of the if you've ever taken a course on networking, right? One of the worst referrals that you can ever give somebody. Hey, I'm in the car sales business. I'm looking for referrals. Well, who do you want to meet? Oh, anybody. Oh, anybody is like the worst thing you could say to someone. It's way too general. It doesn't help. You got to be, I'm looking for somebody who has a car that every time you hear it starting up, the people are punching their steering wheel. That's the guy I want. I want anybody who's driving a foreign car so I can sell them an American car. That's the guy you want. It's something very, very specific. I want people who have minivans because I know that they've got kids, and I like to deal with people who are families. That is how you give somebody an idea of what you're looking for. That's how you build a referral. If you want to be a guest on radio and anywhere in the country, and don't think about being on, the biggest show. Build yourself up. Start from somewhere. You have to provide a value or a service to that host. You have to be able to do it. You have an expertise in something because you write about it regularly and specifically, and you don't deviate. You've done something that is of note, and you want to be able to share it. You have a something special, a breakthrough, a breaking story, or what have you. And you provide it to that host in a way that allows them to utilize it, that makes them look good. Believe it or not, the guest is there to make the host look good and make the host more relatable to the audience. I'm having a conversation about immigration. Stephen Cruiser's a great guest. And by the way, people don't use Cruiser enough on policy. A great guest because he's lived in Tucson, he's done radio there, and he understands these people. Right? He understands this situation. He understands how people are dealing with this. So that's what makes him such a solid guest on the subject. And by the way, as a general guest, he's been a stand-up comic for 30 years. He wasn't kidding about whatever he puts on his face for the wrinkles. I mean, he doesn't look great, but he could look worse. 30 years he's been a stand-up comic. People I run into, Paige, 1 billion people. All right, maybe less.
I could say it's almost the same as a producer when people send me, and I get they have a book, but it's like they just send anything my way that they think can get them on the air.
Right.
And I can remember back in St. Louis, like people would send me things for books that it was like, you don't even know our show. We would never have you on. But at least they're making an effort. Like you said, you have to bring something, and you have to do it in an engaging way. Don't just think because you can talk for 5 minutes about some subject that you're going to be back on. Because if you're boring, no one wants to listen to that.
Well, of course they don't want to hear anybody who's boring, and that's a whole nother thing. People who don't practice and don't engage, you got to give an answer that's short enough to let the host talk, but long enough to give the answer. Nobody wants to hear you drone. So that's a whole another part of it. Which, by the way, I've been trying to teach Steven Cruiser. He won't learn. He won't learn. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have no idea. But that's my advice, and I give it everywhere. But if you do that, like if you write up why this is valuable to a host and send it to them, email it to them, build that relationship with them, and don't ask for anything in return at first, build up the relationship, that's how it works. That's how. And by the way, I can give you the greatest example of this in the world. I can give you two. Kira Davis built, admittedly, if you don't know Kira Davis, Kira Ein Davis on Twitter, check out her videos at YouTube. Unbelievable talent. She writes for American Current C. She writes for Independent Journal Review. Her whole start was in. I can't say her whole start. I would never say that about her. Our chat room. And she was a contributor in the chat room, and her contributions were so good that led to her calling in. That led to some other things, and next thing you know, she's like, "Wait a second, I don't need cats. I got this," and off she goes. And now she's like a super huge star and stuff. And God bless. And the other one, the only person who regularly sends me things and explains why it might work, Jeff Dunitz, writes a site Yid with Lid. He also writes for Truth Revolt. I think he used to write over at Breitbart. The only person in all the time I've been on radio for a little over 4 years, I've been doing this, is the only person who on a regular basis sends me information, sends me stories, sends me stuff I'm not getting everywhere else with a spin, and does it on such a regular basis where I'm like, okay, let's talk about this. In 4 years, the only person who does it regularly. That's how infrequent it happens, and that's how important it is. Paige, I am ready.
You are ready?
Paige, I'm ready. I am so ready. The announcement is happening, and I will tell you that when we return, I will, at the very top of the hour, no more waiting, no more joking, I will have it for you. It's a brave new world, ladies and gentlemen. Just can't wait to be a part of it. More ahead. Do not go away. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
Hey, I'm a cheap replacement window, and the people in this house think they got a great deal. I'm going to let them keep thinking that because I don't want to be replaced by a Unique Home Solutions triple pane window. I'll waste a ton of their energy before they wise up. Plus, in just a few years, it'll be almost impossible to open or close me. Oh, and they think they have a real warranty? Wait till they find out that the warranty on me keeps declining after 2 years, and it doesn't include labor. The way I look at it, I'm one cheap replacement window who's here for keeps. Oh, here comes the mailman. I think the electric bill's due today. The AC's been running, and the bill's going to be huge. This is not good. I hope they don't find out about Unique.
Unique Home Solutions. 1-800-800-1971.
Mom always takes me Father's Day shopping, which is fun and all, but we usually buy stuff that I don't think my dad would like pink sandals and purses. When we went to Reese Nichols, I thought Mom was up to her old tricks. because they have a lot of girl stuff. But then she said,
"Do you think your dad would like a watch?"
Well, they had tons of watches. Dad always says he's the king of the house. So I asked the guy behind the counter to see the one with the crown on it. And he said,
"Ah, a Rolex.
And there was one with an airplane on it."
That's a Breitling."
We picked one out that he'll really like. But I'm not sure if he'll like the earrings Mom got for him.
Oh, I'm sure someone will wear them.
Come and see our huge selection of the best Swiss watch brands in the world, starting at just a few $100s at Reese Nichols Jewelers. North, across from Keystone at the Crossing, in Greenwood, or online at reesenichols.com.
Again, Greg Garrison here, and I'd love to give you softer skin, spot-free glasses, and a $1,200 savings. Well, that's what my friends at Kinetico can do for you with their whole house drinking water system, which includes Kinetico Premier Series water softeners and a K5 drinking water station. Visit KineticoIndy.com for full details, and make sure you tell them that you want the Kinetico $1,200 savings special that Greg Garrison was talking about. Again, visit KineticoIndy.com to learn more and tell them the Garrison sent you.
The news and talk of Indiana. 93 WIBC. This hour powered by the Bill Estes Ford Cash for Junker sale from the Plumbing, Heating, Paramedic Studios.
This is Central Indiana's news, weather, and traffic station.
93 WIBC, Indianapolis.
Fox News Radio. I'm Ron Platter. Cities in northern Iraq have been falling to invading militants who take their inspiration from al-Qaeda, leading Iraq's prime minister to call on the U.S. for help. President Obama has promised some help.
Helping to finance, train, advise military forces with partner countries, including Iraq, that have the capacity to maintain their own security.
He says he'll consider all options. Aides say that could mean airstrikes and drone attacks, but not a return of U.S. ground troops. The president will also seek help from allies.
The only country other than the U.S. right now to stand up and say that the world needs to do something about what's happening in Iraq is France. NATO has already come out and said that they will not get involved militarily. The British have said that they will not get involved militarily in Iraq. The reason you're hearing from the French is because they have oil interests.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. All this pushed the prices higher for crude oil and energy stocks.
You see the tensions escalating in Iraq. That brings on that wild card and uncertainty. It's easy to find the winners in the energy sector. They're leading the S&P 500. That is the group that's shining today. Denbury, Noble Energy, Marathon, all with up arrows.
Fox Business Network's Nicole Padalides on Wall Street. Crude oil went up 2%. The Dow lost 110 points. It looks like California's Kevin McCarthy will move up from majority whip to House Majority Leader. That's after Texas Congressman Pete Sessions took his name out of consideration.
Maybe people came to him, maybe even the Speaker of the House, and said, we need to not have a race. We don't need to divide things. Let's just keep things the way they are.
Fox's Capitol reporter Chad Pergram. Bo Bergdahl is expected to arrive in a couple hours at a military hospital in San Antonio. He's been on a flight tonight from Germany where he was being treated after his release from Afghanistan 2 weeks ago in exchange for 5 Taliban prisoners. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Weekdays on Fox Business.
Bottom line here is we want investors to be prepared for the day ahead, the week ahead.
Opening Bell with Maria Bartiromo.
The concept is to bring perspective, analysis. All day long, I'm speaking with global allocators of capital, CEOs, heads of state, so I can anticipate some of the major moves or reactions, giving investors an edge.
Opening Bell with Maria Bartiromo. Weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Business.
Weeknights, Kelly brings the heat.
Developing tonight, a Kelly File exclusive. This is breaking news. We're just getting this.
Inside today's most explosive stories.
That's not the way it was supposed to go down.
Getting answers and challenging the status quo.
Sir, it's a back and forth. I'm not just going to give you the platform for a soliloquy. Don't come on here and spit. I will leave that to you to decide.
Powerful, insightful, fair, and balanced. Megyn Kelly taking prime time to the next degree.
Join me for the Kelly File, weeknights at 9.
Best service, best products. Do it best.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Yes, we have thousands of home improvement items in stock, but what separates us are the things you won't find in a typical big box store. A wide selection of annuals and perennials, mini grown right here in Indianapolis, a wide array of patio furniture at our Keystone location, sauces and marinades to go along with our Weber grills,
And don't forget the world's best smoker and grill, the Big Green Egg, available at Sullivan Hardware and Garden.
Minimize the work and maximize the fun. Use Super Deck Stain. Super Deck semi-transparent stain is formulated for any exterior wood surface, including decks, fences, siding, and furniture. Available in a spectacular 63-color palette to capture the beauty you seek. One coat application.
All right, let's talk.
Independent
Paige, I'm talking to
shop local, shop
my people,
best.
so
visit Sullivan
I'm not
Hardware
talking
and
to you.
Garden, 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, and it.
Oddly enough, this announcement will come in 2 parts. Now, that was not the plan originally. The plan was not for this to come in 2 parts. The plan was for this to be in its totality. That plan got changed on me a little bit today. I would argue it, but that does not make any sense for me. If you want to guess in the chat room, go right ahead. You can guess all you want. If I can figure out how to do the announcement in 2 parts, I will. I may slip. I may. But I want you to know, and I'll be discussing it, of course, when we get to it. There are a lot of good guesses. Should I be drinking for this? Because I can. I can get a drink for this right now. There's some good guesses. There are some very, very good guesses. This is nice. And I will admit, there are some people in the chat room right now who know. They know part 1 and part 2. Holly Bacon. I'll give it to you so you can pressure them. Holly Bacon, Steven Cruiser, Mr. Fastbucks, and they might be the only 3. Not even Thompson knows. Not even our own Sports Mike knows. What's going down? I will tell you this. Most unbelievable thing that has ever happened to me. A knockout. A total knockout. Cannot wait. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
The wait is over, ladies and gentlemen. Hot diggity. Tony Katz Tonight. Great to be with all of you. 317-239-9393. Toll free 800-571-9422. I have been teasing this announcement since last week, Paige.
Yes, you have.
And Stacey Washington, who filled in on Monday, Cameron Gray and Seton Motley, who filled in on Tuesday, Cam Edwards on Wednesday. All have done a very, very good job of teasing this announcement and what's coming and what's happening. And it's a pleasure to see the chat room filled at TonyKatz.com. You click on the radio show link and you can get to it. Some people know, some people don't, but I share it with you now. Now, originally, I thought I was going to be able to do the full announcement, but this announcement has to take place in 2 parts. 2 parts, Paige. 2 parts. Now, I should tell you that Paige has known about this for a while.
For years.
For years. We've known each other since November. What are you talking about?
God's given me a gift. The gift of prophecy.
Oh, that's adorable. Freakish, but adorable. I have, ladies and gentlemen, for a long time, been having the conversation that I live in California for now. I have discussed the fact repeatedly that California is a truly amazing, amazing place. Visually, it is maybe the most stunning place I have ever lived. It is a pleasure to wake up and see those mountains, or drive just a short bit and see the Pacific, or drive just a short bit and actually be in the mountains in a place like Big Bear, or a little further north and up to Mammoth. Spectacular. The whole place is unbelievable. But I've also been very, very honest about the issue, and the issues not only facing California, but facing all of America. And there are some states that do something about it, and some states that continue to fail. Have never been interested in failure. I have been interested in always, not only do I not fail, but how do I make sure that I'm in a place that allows me the best opportunity for the best life possible. It's not about the money. It's about, how do you enjoy your life? How I want to enjoy myself, and every morning I wake up in California, the thing you have to do is you open up the window, you're amazed by the weather, you look at the beautiful view, and then unfortunately you turn on a computer and you ask yourself, what insane fakakta law did they pass next? I'm tired of that. And I have been tired of that for a long, long time. Now, the chat room is going into some great guesses, Paige, of what I'm doing. Moving to Texas to join Dana Lash at the Blaze. Interesting guess. A Tracked and Targeted tour, also an interesting guess. Tracked and Targeted, the show I do with Steven Cruiser and Kurt Schlichter. One of the people in the chat room says that I'm moving in with her, and the answer is maybe. But here, allow me. There are a lot of places in the country to be, but never in my life have I been so welcomed, and so cared for, as I have in the state of Indiana, and by the people of Indianapolis. So I'm coming, and I'm coming next week. I am moving to Indianapolis. Jim, do you have something to say?
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that
And when I say I'm moving next week, I mean the movers are coming next week. I have 4 days left in Los Angeles. So, in a little bit of a shocking twist, I will not be on the air for the next 2 weeks, starting tomorrow. You will be hearing some Garrison. You'll be hearing some extra stuff. I am back on the air June 30th. This has been an absolutely unbelievable turn of events that has led me in this direction and led me to this place. All right, Jim, I've had enough of you. You can stop. Dear God.
He was done anyways.
Thank you. It is not without there are no reservations, not a single reservation to the idea of moving to Indianapolis. I find that town I shouldn't say that town. I find my town, Paige, can I say that? Sure. I find my town to be an absolutely spectacular place. I dig it completely. Any place where you can open carry both a drink and a gun, that's my town. That is my place.
You've never been drunk.
What was that?
Said you who's never been drunk is all great about the open carry of a drink.
I believe in freedom, Paige, and I believe in letting people live their life. Thank you very much. The fact that I've never been drunk is only because, I care about people, and I like to see what's happening around me. But it has been a long time in coming, this move, and honestly, there were a lot of considerations. I will tell you that Texas seriously was in the conversation, but nothing more serious than Phoenix, Arizona. I wrestled with part of the decision because I love Phoenix. I went to school there at Arizona State. I am a Sun Devil because people who know how to go to college go to ASU and not U of A. By the way, that is a straight assault on all Wildcats, including Steven Cruiser and Katie Pavlich. I say it unabashedly, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. So it was really a interesting conversation between those two places. So you have to ask yourself, you have the choice of Phoenix, Arizona, and you have the choice of Indianapolis, Indiana. What exactly was the turning point? What exactly was the thing that put you over the edge to say, I, Tony Katz, am moving to Indianapolis, Indiana? By the way, I say that out loud to myself every now and then, Paige, just to,
remind you.
Yeah, I'm moving to Indianapolis, Indiana. I, Tony Katz, am moving to Indianapolis, Indiana. So what is it that put you over the edge, that made you say Indianapolis? The answer to that question is the part 2, to which I cannot discuss today. Believe it or not. What I can say is this. I have said this before a million times in my life. The only thing worse in the world than no deal is a bad deal. And the good people at Emmis made me an unbelievable deal, to which I am absolutely, positively thankful. Emmis, of course, the owners there of WIBC, and where I got my start, KFTK in St. Louis, Missouri. And when you hear part 2, you think this is big? This is nothing compared to part 2. We'll talk about that when we return. This is your Indianapolis hometown boy, Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Tonight.
93 WIBC.
It's disappointing, sure.
The reason we won this campaign.
So, that's what I'm doing. Oh, by the way, the part 2, which I can't talk about. It's ridiculous. I can't talk about it. This is going to be very different. Paige, can I say that? It's going to be very different.
With the recent storms, if you think you have hail damage,
this is going to be very,
All-Star Roof Siding and more at
very
522-6409.
Extraordinarily
I had hail damage, but Tom Myers,
different.
Owner,
it may leak early. I am not allowed until tomorrow afternoon.
Roof, gutters, gutter covers, siding, and they even fix my interior. All-Star is family owned.
It's going to be
complaint free.
No, you're going to sit down. When you hear it, it's going to make you sit down. You're going to scratch your head. It's that. It's that.
Your house is too valuable to use just any company. Just ask Dr. Dirt.
Thank you, Tom.
Steven Cruiser doing ASU jokes.
All-Star Roof Siding and more at 317-522-6409. That's 317-522-6409. Keep that number handy for future storms.
If you need reliable, high-quality video production, look no further than PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com provides promotional videos, training videos, and conference and event coverage nationwide. Get a high-quality, consistent look to your corporate videos with the most reliable video company in the country. Visit PrimeImageMedia.com today to learn more. Mention Tony Katz and get 10% off your first production. That's PrimeImageMedia.com. PrimeImageMedia.com.
Men, have you ever been embarrassed when the time was right but you just couldn't perform? Now you can. The secret is one visit to Total Performance Medical Center. Over 4,000 men over the last 5 years are performing better than ever, regardless of medical conditions. You get to try the medication containing FDA-approved ingredients right at the medical center. The medication gives you from 45 minutes to 2 hours of full, long-lasting performance. This is the most medically sound solution available.
Just
no
burped.
pain, no surgery. Your total cost.
Yes, I'm going to be the head of the Colts.
Including PSA and testosterone, are at a special rate of $299. If you have poor male performance or just want to perform much better, call 317.
It's quite all right, Stephen. Don't worry about a thing.
That's 317-454-7700. At Total Performance, we perform.
Tell me where you put it so I can see it.
And absolutely no more erectile dysfunction. 317-454-7700. 317-454-7700. Call 454-7700 now.
Pat Sullivan here with a spring home improvement tip. You wouldn't go a year without cleaning the inside of your house, so why are you waiting to clean the exterior of your home? You may not
I don't know how to answer that, Paige.
Dirty things are out there. Take a look at your roof for those ugly black roof stains. Look at the exterior. Check out your gutters and your concrete. Look at how winter has weathered your wood deck. Then call the guys I rely on, Indiana Roof and Exterior Cleaning. They'll come out, inspect everything, and give you a free estimate. They'll safely clean your roof, the exterior of your home, concrete, even your gutters. Indiana Roof and Exterior Cleaning safely cleans and seals concrete patios and driveways, wood decks. They do power washing. They eliminate those ugly black roof stains and much more. Check out all their services at IndianaExteriorCleaning.com. Get clean with Indiana Roof and Exterior Cleaning. See more at IndianaExteriorCleaning.com. Give them a call at 771-4660. That's 771-4660 or IndianaExteriorCleaning.com.
So many things can go wrong with knees. Who do you go see? You go to your regular doctor, or do you go to a specialist? Whether you're 8 or 80, if you have knee problems, go to Shelbourne Knee Center, the only doctors and therapists who specialize in treating knees. Dan Dockich here for the Shelbourne Knee Center. They will diagnose your problem, get you on the path to recovery. Find out more at fixknee.com/Dockich or call 888-FIX-KNEE in collaboration with Indiana University.
Total madness.
Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Dogs and cats living together. Oh, there are things that are going to happen.
From Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing. Welcome to You Too Can Be Cool. Go ahead, caller. We have time for one more.
Thanks for taking my call. I still wear black socks, wingtips, and striped shorts on the beach. Can you still make me cool?
Absolutely. I might have to turn to the experts at Carrier to make you really cool, but as I've said before, there is no one on this earth that Howald Heating and Air can't make cool. Well, thanks, folks, and remember, with Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, you too can be cool.
So I got to get up and listen to a radio program at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. You're kidding me, right? Nope, it's worth it. The Christian Science Sentinel Radio Edition. Sundays on WIBC and WIBC.com.
A cough there, I apologize.
Mr. Plummer for their $93 drain clearing.
And thank you to everybody on Twitter for the retweets and the whatnots.
For details, 317-299-9911.
You're listening to Tony Katz Tonight. To talk to Tony, call 239-9393.
You're in.
This is going to be my theme song when I walk down the streets of Indy.
I'm bringing sexy back.
Paige is going to walk behind me with a boombox like Say Anything.
I was going to say, am I suddenly what's his nose?
What's his nose?
I wasn't thinking Say Anything. I was thinking
John Cusack from Say Anything?
No, I was thinking what's the Spike Lee movie?
Do the Right Thing?
Yeah, Radio Raheem. Thank you. I can be Radio Raheem walking behind you.
Who does a Do the Right Thing reference? I do. That's well played, Sports Mike.
Do the Right Thing's one of my 5 favorite films of all time.
But I was making the reference. Come on, let's give me a little credit.
I'm totally giving you credit, but Sports Mike just walked right in and stole your thunder. It was like,
I know,
who are you? See, this is the problem with the patriarchy. That's the whole issue.
It's a war on women in here.
Oh, no kidding. Wait till I get there, Paige. Paige, let me ask you a question. You and me in studio 5 times a week. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, have you thought about it?
Oh, I have.
By the way, Paige stays, ladies and gentlemen. Paige continues to produce the show.
I didn't realize you moving here meant that there wasn't enough room.
Oh, there was
for
a
both of us in the
conversation.
studio.
There was a conversation.
Can we get anyone better than her?
Yeah, seriously.
And the
Every
answer's
day,
no.
at 2,000 miles away, sure. Right next door, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me go to the phones really quick. Robert on line 2. Welcome to Tony Katz Tonight. What's up, Robert?
Yes, sir. I just want to welcome you as a fellow Hoosier.
Thank you so much. I take the title and the mantle. I'll be wearing a sash and carrying a scepter. I will be knighting people on the circle upon my arrival.
I look forward to maybe having a cocktail and a cigar with you down there in Noblesville.
Noblesville, Carmack's, one of the great cigar lounges out there, right there on the square.
Well, I don't live too very far from there.
Well, as long as you can stumble home, man. I appreciate the good wishes. Thank you so much for the phone call. So, yes, I am moving to Indianapolis. That is happening. I arrive in town not next week, but the week after. Going to take a little time, visit some...
Are you going to want cake and punch again?
Every day. Every day is cake and punch day for this program right here. Every single day.
Sports Mike says Indy all night.
Indy all night.
We love Indy all night. We love Indy all night. They can easily be our meal sponsor.
The caterer, the official caterer of Tony Katz Tonight.
Well, I think that should go to someone like, honestly, it's a bidding war, and I'm good with that. Will it be Indy all night? Will it be Prime 47? There are questions to be answered, and I'm looking forward to that happening. Now there are already rumors happening that Greg, meaning Greg Garrison, is going to retire, and you will be filling his spot. Let me put that rumor to rest. No. There is no one who fills the shoes of Greg Garrison. The man is a giant amongst men. And I hope he lets me move there. I believe I have to go through some kind of approval process before I arrive. So let me tell you this. I have a house. I have and this I could use help on. I could use a full crowdsourcing conversation. Should I talk about part 2, Paige? Should I get into what that is? Should I just say screw it and do it?
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah,
because...
right. But let me ask you this, Paige. Let me ask you this before I get into everything and do a little crowdsourcing. If I were to unleash part 2, part 1 I think is big enough. I'm leaving Los Angeles. It's like leaving Las Vegas, but I don't get to have sex with Elizabeth Shue.
Would you want to?
Are you kidding? Is this a conversation, Paige? Who are you?
This isn't the 90s anymore where she's showgirls-esque.
In my version, yes, she is.
So you could put a paper bag on her and
I
guess it would
stop
work.
it. Stop it. I don't know how they do this in your hometown, but Elizabeth and I would have a sweet moment together. Thank you. And she would be very thankful. Here's the question, Paige. When I release, which I'll be doing via social media tomorrow, part 2, if you were a regular listener to this program, would part 2 make you say, wow, oh, wow, or would it make you sit down and have a cocktail?
For me personally, probably an oh wow, maybe a cocktail.
Yeah,
depends on what time of day.
It is going to be a thing, what time of day for the cocktail? See that's how I know you're not really in on the program yet, because there are no rules about times for cocktails. You can have a cocktail anytime
when you got
want.
A kid and you got to drive to Cleveland tomorrow.
Who's driving to Cleveland tomorrow?
I am.
Why?
Because we're going to visit friends for the weekend.
No one visits friends in Cleveland. If you were a real friend, you would let them come to you.
Yeah, but they have the amusement park up there. Cedar Point.
Oh, Cedar Point's very cool.
Well, it's near there.
Cedar Point is very, very cool. And by the way, I've gotten my first negative response on Twitter from a Sean Ward 2006. My dearest sympathies on your move to Naptown. I don't even know. I never even heard it referred to Naptown. But let me just say, Sean, dumbest tweet I've ever read. Shame on you. And your sister is easy. That's what I do to people who attack my town.
Throwing it down tonight.
Seriously? Bitches be warned. Indianapolis is my people now. All right? I have taken them under my wing. Don't step up and come heavy or don't come at all. That's my thesis. That's the way it goes. I'll get into some of my moving issues and some questions I have for the people, the people, my neighbors in Indianapolis when we return. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
This hour is powered by Idle Joy Museum's Indian Market.
Summer in Indianapolis, and isn't it time to say goodbye to paint and say hello to Rhino Shield? Now you can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right here in central Indiana.
Don't step
Go
up.
with Rhino Shield, and you'll never have to paint your home, business, or church again.
That's Jim Williams, owner of Rhino Shield.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, well, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying you should not be going to Cleveland. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Our good friends that we all met in St. Louis are there.
You know what? Here is my response. Blah, 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 blah. You don't go to
Never
Cleveland.
going to visit your friends in LA again.
Oh, but yeah, but that's LA. You know what? You have to sneak behind enemy lines. You got to talk in a whisper.
She has posted. She's not like in Cleveland. She's in one of the suburbs. Looks beautiful.
Sure. Sure it is.
Rhino.
See, I've never heard Indianapolis called Naptown before. Ever. Have you, Paige? Have you ever heard it called Naptown?
If you need
That's usually
high-quality video production, look no further than
That's what it used to be called when there was nothing downtown, according to Sports Mike. That also
Oh.
sounds like something someone who's lived here their whole life and is bitter about never leaving would say.
Nationwide, get a high-quality, consistent look to your
Seriously?
videos with
So Mellencamp and I, we're gonna have a talk.
Visit
We're gonna have a talk about what America
He's
really
from
is.
and Tony Katz and get
It's from
10%
Indiana.
off
It's close
your
enough.
first production. That's primeimagemedia.com.
Sports Mike says so is James Dean.
Dude, they're all from
Business
Indiana.
owners or executives raises
Vonnegut, the whole thing. The guy who wrote The Fault in Our Stars.
stress you're facing. You have to contend with how to keep your business intact through the process.
Cordell & Cordell Principal Partner, CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on subtle and sophisticated strategies such as business valuations, income allocations, and income tax projections. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters. If you're a business owner facing divorce, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. We're the partner men can count on.
The attorneys at Cordell & Cordell work to help men protect their financial interests. Call the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. 322-0122. Offices in Carmel, Hamilton County, and downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Father's Day is June 15th, and Menards is the perfect place to find great gifts for Dad. Right now, save big with an 11% rebate on everything in the store. Save 11% after rebate on hand and power tools. Save 11% on trimmers, mowers, and pressure washers. Save 11% after rebate on grills, patio furniture, and more great Father's Day gifts. Good through Saturday, June 14th. So
All right.
today with an 11% rebate on everything in the store.
Save big money at Menards.
Inside Gander Mountain, you'll find everything your father wants
That
for
is
whatever
funny.
he wants to do outside. Because if your dad is into hunting, fishing, camping, or just likes being outside,
I didn't know Steve McQueen was from
is the
Indiana.
best place for great Father's Day
Tony
gifts.
Stewart, I knew.
Or if he's into shooting
Sports Mike, Sports Mike says Beech Grove.
5,000. And from
Says
brands
what?
like Smith
Oh, Beech Grove,
Beech
Indiana.
Grove. Steve McQueen is from Beech Grove.
And remember, when you're looking for hard-to-find ammo, Gander Mountain.
Two coolest actors of all time from Indiana, according to Sports.
Sign up for our ammo club to get weekly email updates about current supplies, shipment dates, and special offers like these. Take $50 off
I'm
the
ready.
price of our Gander Mountain Grizzly Cub 6-person tent, now only $129.
I am ready.
And get a free $20 Gander Mountain gift card when you purchase $100 or more worth of GSX or Guide Series apparel and footwear. All of which makes us the perfect one-stop shop for Father's Day gifts. Gander Mountain. We live outdoors.
Oh, yeah, so part 2.
Hi, folks. Dr. Dirt here
Part
to
2
tell
is
you
the...
more about my good friends at Window Man, a locally owned family business with a complaint-free Better Business Bureau rating.
Becca
Window Man
Lauer.
did
I
all
live
the
2
windows
hours
in
from
my
Indy,
home,
and I wouldn't
that's
move there
why
if you
I
paid
decided
me.
to tell all my friends about how
Well,
much
that's
we
just
love our new windows.
rude.
Window Man uses only company employees certified by installation masters to
Is that,
install
you're in
your new
Kentucky,
windows,
right,
unlike
Becca?
their competitors.
Becca in the
They
chat
never
room.
send subcontractors to your home. The windows are Energy Star qualified, carry the Good Housekeeping seal, and are backed by a double lifetime warranty. You know, my
Oh,
wife and I
clearly,
love the
Prairie.
little double-hung windows they
My
install.
complaints about the weather are going to be epic.
Most of all, we love the lower utility bills we receive from our new windows. So go ahead and call my friend today.
You know, I don't think I told him. I didn't think about that when I told him I'd stay.
Or visit them on the web at windowmaninc.com. 443-9000.
He does it.
What, stay here? With the program?
We may need to renegotiate my contract.
Indianapolis.
I don't even know your contract, but yes, you do.
Where we have rates starting in the twos. No out of
Yes, you do. No
programs,
question
and
about
no
it.
payments until summer. We do all this and give you the flexibility to get cash out, shorten your term, or even pay off high
No
interest credit card debt.
question
Perfect credit or less than perfect
about
credit.
it.
Call now. 317-968-9500.
Heck, I'm thinking about the weather. I need to renegotiate my contract.
All loans and rates are subject to credit approval. Programs and rates are subject to change. Additional terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. See letter for
We're
restrictions.
gonna need to make sure we have like a permanent room, like rooms at the hotel, so that way when we're done, we have a safe place.
Blast on the 4th of July.
Oh, you talking about weather-wise?
Grounds. Grab the
Yes.
details at WIBC.com. You're listening to Tony Katz Tonight. To talk to Tony, call 239-9393.
You're in.
Chat room is reminding me how bad the weather is. As I am moving to Indianapolis. I thought about the weather. I thought about the weather a lot, which is why, Phoenix was so on my mind. And I have a relationship with Phoenix, and I went to college out there, and some friends there. I thought about Phoenix long and hard, and weather was a huge part of the conversation, because when you live in California, no matter what you want to say about the politics here, which are all true, the weather it can't be beat. It's criminally insane. It's unbelievable. And Arizona is really, really good weather. Not the best weather ever. It's really, really good weather. But when I drop part 2, I'll buy a jacket. I will get me a fancy coat.
What about snow boots?
Yeah, so no, I want to get the moon boots that when they get cold, they change colors, like I had when I was a kid. That's totally what I'm doing. Did you ever have those?
No.
Am I the only one who had those? The moon boots, and they were kind of like they're puffy, and when you stepped in snow and it got cold, they would change color.
I never had them, but I mean, we had all of our gear from Columbia.
Oh, you had your gear from Columbia.
I had my Bugaboo jacket.
Oh, wow. What a 1%er. We got our gear from a place called Two Guys, which was a department store before. It was the department store before Bradley's, which was the department store before Target. That's what it was. It was Two Guys on Route 35 in Middletown, New Jersey. My mother is listening right now. She knows exactly what I'm talking about. She should call in. Mom, you should call in. Okay, so it was Two Guys, and then it was Bradley's, and Bradley's was a big deal in Middletown, New Jersey. And then, of course, it was Target. But Two Guys is where you went when you couldn't be seen going to Kmart. You went to Two Guys, and the boots, and they turned color. It was fantastic. So I'm moving to Indianapolis, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight is actually the last show for a while as I do this move and get everything done. We're back on the air on the 30th. So here is the issue I'm having. So I already have the place, and I already I've set up the electric, and I've set up the gas and whatever else I'm supposed to set up. And then I get, oh, God, I didn't know this was a thing. Someone should have warned me. I get to all right, I'm going to need cable. I'm going to need TV. All right, so who's the cable carrier, there? It's Bright House. I can't get Xfinity. It's Bright House. Okay, what are my other choices? Well, there's Dish or there's DirecTV. Yeah, but if I do them, I can't get internet. I have to get internet through satellite, and based on the amount of streaming that I do and uploading and things like that, I'll blow through that in like day 3. So I now need to go back to Bright House. Well, I started asking some people about Bright House Cable, and people started, basically throwing up. They think it's the worst cable carrier in the history of mankind. So what do? I think I have to get the internet through Bright House, but what do I do for actual television viewing?
Can't you do AT&T?
No, can't get Uverse. Uverse is not available. Fios is not available. Xfinity is not available.
We have our cable through AT&T, like our internet. I'm sorry, not cable. Our internet through AT&T.
Yeah,
but they don't have very good bit rates here.
I need. We do a lot of work. There's a lot of uploading. There are other things that I do, and so I need something that has some power. So I don't know. I have no idea what people do. I'm hearing some people say they get the internet here and then they get the TV through, the internet through Bright House and then the TV through Direct or Dish. And the only difference, so Dish is less expensive than Direct. Dish has more channels than Direct. But everybody I know, and I don't know that many people, has Direct if they have satellite, and they all say, well, NFL Sunday Ticket. Like that's like the official answer. I want to be able to watch every NFL game, so I have DirecTV and I have the NFL Sunday Ticket. I can watch everything. You can get like 250 channels, which I don't know what I would do with 250 channels. I'm pretty busy in a day. And so but I want to be able to watch what I want. Like I don't need HBO or whatever, at least not yet. I can always get that as the add-on, right? But I just need some channels, but I don't specifically need a Sunday Ticket, but everyone tells me, oh, you got to get the Sunday Ticket. And if you get DirecTV, you get it. So I have no idea what to do. No idea what to do whatsoever. And the chat room is telling me that, or is that you, Paige? No, the chat room's asking me about something called CenturyLink. Yeah, but that's all satellite internet, and I will blow through that data plan in about 4 seconds. Like, I'm going to be through that in no time. By the way, thank you to Gene out there, Gene Vincent. 93.1 was WNAP before WIBC came on the FM, because WIBC, of course, was 1070 AM, which is now the Fan. So that part I didn't know. So I appreciate the history there. Thank you so very, very much. I always like when people share the good news and the good stories. So that's like the biggest issue I'm having. But let me go to the phones because my mother is on the phone. Diane.
Hi, what's this rumor that you're moving to Indianapolis?
Yeah, listen, I tried to call. I tried to call, but
how come I'm always the last to know?
Well, I tried to call and I really just wanted to leave a message, but I don't know, the phone was busy or something. So yeah,
try harder.
I'm moving to Indianapolis. It's in Indiana.
All the way to Indiana?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's nice people. Nice.
Yeah, people. But did you know it's cold?
Well, I mean, you live in Las Vegas, so that's true. It is colder.
It was 102 today.
Well, congratulations. I don't know what to say to that. It was not 102 in Indianapolis. I can guarantee you that, and I'm pretty sure this winter it's going to be negative 102. So I've got that going for me.
Does that mean that I can only see you from April to October?
I was kind of hoping you'd stay. You'd come and stay December through March, if only just to shovel.
You would allow me to shovel? You're such a wonderful son.
Listen,
thank you.
Listen, Mom, as we have often discussed, we don't believe in treating the women folk any different than the men folk. So I would say that if I didn't allow you to shovel, what kind of feminist would I be?
Well, you just carry on your war on women, and leave the poor Paige out of this, okay? I'm very proud and I'm very thrilled for you, and God bless Indianapolis. Tell them to eat their Cheerios. They're going to need it.
Let me ask you a question. In your whole life, you know, you grew up in Brooklyn. We lived in New Jersey. Did it ever dawn on you that you would have a child? First of all, as fantastic as this, but most importantly, one that would of his own volition. Did you ever think you'd have a child who lived in Indianapolis or the Midwest? Did that ever dawn on you?
Hey, growing up in Brooklyn, I didn't know there was a Midwest. There was Brooklyn and Queens, and occasionally, if you were adventuresome, you went to the Bronx.
Well, I've only heard some of your stories, but I'm pretty sure you were a girl who went to the Bronx.
Well, so I've been told.
Oh my goodness! So but I will see you in a few days. I'm gonna hit Vegas before heading out to Indy. So we will see each other.
Well, the filter's on in the pool, and have a great trip, and lots of good luck. And I think everything that's going on is fabulous.
Well, thank you, Mom. I love you, and I will see you soon. More ahead, everybody. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
While you're picking the crust out of your eyes, we are picking the stories that
4 minutes.
to you.
That was, by the way, that's actually my mother. That is really and truly my mom.
Your weather conditions. While you're working on that morning breath, hopefully, we're working on your faster commute with traffic on the 5s.
'Cause I'm working for
Begin your day on the right foot with the right information. Indy's Morning News on 93 WIBC
'Cause I'm working for
and WIBC.com.
Mom always takes me Father's Day shopping, which is fun and all, but we usually
That is
buy
too
stuff
funny.
that I don't think my dad would like pink sandals and purses. When we went to Reese Nichols, I thought Mom was up to her old tricks, because they have a lot of girls.
Diane is good people.
But then she said,
"Do you think your dad would like a watch?"
I have often thought of
they
doing
had
a
tons of
segment,
watches. Dad always
like
had
a weekly segment with my mother, and then thought, you know what, that's like then I'm like, that's hokey. Don't do that.
And there was one with
But,
an
like,
airplane on it.
That's a every now and then I'm like
We picked one out that he'll really like.
like she'd be perfect for this thing.
Oh, I'm sure someone.
I wrestle with that all the
Come
time.
and see our huge selection of
By the way,
dress,
Prue
wristwatch,
has
brands,
already
and
happened.
starting at just a few $100s at Reese Nichols Jewelers.
I got an invite to speak in Vegas at the end of July. I can't do it. Prue in the chat room says, watch 3 weeks after he moves, he'll get an invite to speak in California. So I've already gotten one for Vegas, and there are a couple of people in California talking to us about Tracked and Targeted. So absolutely, I'll be back. There's no question about it. No doubt about it at all. Totally insane. Are there synagogues in Indy? I'll answer that on the air.
Keeps declining after 2 years, and it doesn't include labor. The way I look at it, I'm one cheap replacement window who's here for keeps. Oh, here comes the mailman. I think the electric bill's due today. The AC's been running, and the bill's gonna be huge. This is not good. I hope they don't find out about Unique.
Unique Home Solution. 1-800-800-1971.
People on Twitter, your mom's funny.
Years ago, the family doctor was a fixture in communities across the country.
It's Gutfeldish? Yeah, but people have been using their mom. Stern used his mom all the time. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
But you know there is someone.
Stern used his mother all the time. I know Gutfeld used his mom.
You can drop by your neighborhood.
I think about it every now and again. Maybe I can add something.
Not a number. So even if a doctor won't be stopping by your house today, you can still stop by your local Health Mart pharmacy, where the tradition of one-to-one care and concern remains strong. Health Mart, caring for you and about you. To find the Health Mart pharmacy nearest you, go to healthmart.com. That's healthmart.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Art, food, music, and family fun. The Idle-Jorg Museum Indian Market and Festival, June 21st and 22nd. Kids 17 and under free. Discount tickets at Marsh at idlejorg.org.
To talk to Tony Katz, call 800-571-9422 or 239-9393. This is Tony Katz Tonight.
You are in.
Justin Timberlake night here at Tony Katz Tonight. I don't know why, Paige.
Why not?
So. Why? More than why not? And thanks to my mom for calling in. Yes, it was actually my mother. That was actually her. Is there a synagogue in Indy being asked to me in the chat room? Because, yes, it is true. I, Tony Katz, am moving to Indianapolis, Indiana. That is absolutely happening. And, yes, there are synagogues in Indianapolis. So I'll be okay. I don't know if they'll accept me, but I should be all right. Shouldn't be too much of a problem to find a synagogue. There's actually a gigantic one there on Meridian.
They're building a center right near my church, actually.
They're building a center. What do you mean a center?
A Jewish. It says it's like a Jewish community center right next to my church.
Where is your church?
My church is right off of Michigan. It's College Park Church.
Okay. I will have to look for that. I will have to check that out. But yeah, well, first let me, move in, get a little situated, figure out what I'm going to do about cable. It's finding a synagogue not easy. You got to do a little shopping. You got to do a couple services here, a couple services there, conversation with the rabbi. You got to feel your way through these things. Let me go to Mark on line 1. Mark, welcome to Tony Katz Tonight. What's up, Mark?
Really? You're going to leave the Valley to come to Indianapolis?
Absolutely, and twice on Sunday.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's great. I live in Carmel, but I also live on the West Coast.
You live in both places?
Correct.
Why do you do that?
For the West. Why? Family. I grew up in Carmel.
Oh, okay. So wait, do you have a house in Carmel and a house in?
Yes, I have a condo in Carmel, and I have a house in Southern California, in Orange County.
Okay, listen, as I've said many times, absolutely.
DirecTV and Bright House in Carmel.
Okay, thank you. DirecTV and Bright House. Is that because Bright House cable sucks?
Just always had DirecTV.
But why DirecTV and not Dish?
I've had DirecTV for like a decade. I don't know. I like it.
And it's good, and it stays up, and even if there's a storm or a snowstorm or.
Well, I have it on the West Coast too. So you got Santa Ana's,
right?
And you have snowstorms, but it's hardwired to the Bright House, so it works both ways. So if the satellite goes out because of a snowstorm or windstorm, it's hardwired to the Bright House or to your hard cable, and then you can download movies.
Oh, interesting. Might have Netflix for that, but that's interesting. That is very interesting. Yeah. I didn't realize there was a connection there. I didn't know that's how it worked. I've never had satellite before. I had no clue. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, now I know. You, sir, have done your job, and let me tell you, I have
an electronics guy. If you wanted to give a number, they'll hook you up.
Well, I
set up your smart house.
You can leave that with Paige. So I'll put you back on hold. You can leave that with Paige. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I will not be doing the almost bi-coastal thing. No, I am moving. I am going to enjoy it. When you hear the part 2, you'll be like, oh, well then, wow. Yeah, it's going to be unbelievable. I was going to actually just let me go to Chuck real quick, because now there are people telling me that I'm crazy. Chuck on line 3, welcome to Tony Katz Tonight. What is up, my friend?
You're not crazy, but you're making a mistake.
Oh yeah?
Your best cigars are on 10th Street. You know that. in L.A.
Well, you keep telling me this.
Yes, because I lived there for 35 years. Right. I came back to Indiana.
Right.
I'm ready to move back to California.
Okay, go right ahead.
And I think you may be making a mistake.
225,000 people a year leave California.
You have to learn.
But no, I reject the idea that it's learning. Now, if you don't like Indiana, I think that's fine. And if I've learned anything about Hoosiers, they'll tell you to go.
I was raised in this area.
But you don't like the area.
Changed. It has changed. The people have changed.
Right.
And actually, you have to be here to find out.
Right. It's like the Matrix. You have to.
Yes.
No one can be told what it is. You have to experience it.
Well, that's exactly right.
All right.
So, don't sell your home. Don't sell your home in California. I didn't. I made that mistake.
Well, listen. I say all the best to you. Enjoy California. Enjoy the taxation. Enjoy the abuses of legislation. Enjoy state senators who tell you you're not allowed to have guns while they engage in gun running from the Philippines. I say enjoy it, my dear friend. I say enjoy a state that actually wants to charge you a tax per mile that you drive. I say enjoy it, my friend. Enjoy California for all it has to offer, the beaches and the mountains and the views and the weather. Oh, enjoy all of that while you sit on the 405. I want you to enjoy it, my friend, every last little bit. Thank you so much. No, seriously. Thank you. No, thank you, sir. No, you have taught me. You have taught me wisely. I have to learn. I am learning as we speak. What I find amazing is that the people of California keep getting an education and they don't learn crap. Some people just don't learn. I don't know what to say. So we're down. The show is going to go dark, as they would say in the theater biz, for a couple weeks. But we are back on the 30th. And of course, Paige will be there. But I will tell you that this is an exceptional opportunity as I see it. One that is going to be a life changer in more ways than one, and I'm thrilled. I am absolutely, positively overjoyed, and I have an incredible life in Southern California, and great friends and people and connections, and this opportunity is so fantastic that it's worth it. And it's not just worth it as in, well, we'll see what happens. It's worth it on every single level. I am thrilled to be moving to Indianapolis. I'm thrilled to be a part of that neighborhood, be a part of that society, to be around everybody. And I can't wait to broadcast from there June 30th. Be listening. And follow me on Twitter at Tony Katz, TonyKatz, especially tomorrow, because part 2 is going to blow your mind. Guys, we'll catch you on the 30th. Much love. Take care.
Hey, Steve Simpson here. So when's the last time you said, hey, I can't wait for this weekend. I'm going to spend it on my ladder cleaning out my garden.
Guys, here you go. Here it is. Here is what I will give you. But I will make the announcement tomorrow. Probably in the afternoon, I think, is when I'll be able to do it. Yes, we are back on the air on the 30th. just not here. Guys, I'm down for a couple of weeks enjoying some pretty fantastic vacation time. My advice to you guys, follow me on Twitter. And good times. Very, very good times. Thank you, guys. Seriously. Tomorrow, everyone. Actually, I should say that. The 30th, everyone. Take care.